Coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. everyone. Sorry.
Bonjour.
I'm Matt. How is everyone? How are you doing, LFT?
I'm great. I'm not eating at all, I promise.
Okay, good.
I'm
Good.
doing
Don't
it.
do that. Don't.
I'm not.
Don't
I'm not.
do it.
Don't do it. I know. Hold on, y'all. I'm putting the fork on the plate and I'm taking my plate to the kitchen. But I'm doing okay. I am more interested in how you, Matt, family, locals are doing, being there in the court. I know it's there have been a lot of super positive things, but I appreciate and recognize that it is a very just complicated, like almost kind of bittersweet experience to go through. And I'm just thinking about y'all more than I am myself.
Well, I'm thinking about you, and it is complicated. And it is bittersweet. I think that's a good. It's a good word. Hey, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone in chat. Thank you so much for being here tonight and honoring Rachel Morin. Being here, honoring Rachel, her family, wanting to know what happened in the court. It means so much to us. And I know the family appreciates the support. So thank you guys for tuning in. Because I played that song. Obviously, we are not monetized. That's not a beg for money. I'm just letting you know we ain't monetized tonight because I'm playing the music and I'm saying all the cursey words. YouTube probably won't like what I have to say, and that's quite all right. We are going to go through the entire week. There's my girl. I have missed you today. I have missed you today. It's today was it was kind of a bummer for me because none of my chickies were there. They all took the day off.
And I have like secondhand jealousy too, in a very weird way, y'all, because I'm not there, but I hear about all these ladies, and I'm like,
oh well, God,
like if Tia does it, it's like the little sister effect too, of like, well, if she's doing it, I want to know, but I so appreciate them, and I've heard nothing but lovely things, and I am very impressed with
these women that I have met in the courtroom have just come to support. And they are, I told you guys about my EMTs. I told you who they were and how madly in love I am with them. But I got to meet some other ladies. One of them is on the screen. She's beautiful, Missy. It's been, I wasn't sure when we went into this how it was going to be in the courtroom. I was really, LFT can tell you, I was a nervous wreck. And I was really nervous. And I have found so much love, positivity. We've prayed. It's been oddly a comforting experience. Not great. It hasn't been awesome. But I feel like Rachel's brought us all together. And I am so grateful. Also, if I don't get this off my chest, I'm literally going to explode. So about 10 minutes ago, I was running around trying to get ready for the live, and I just kept having the same thought come through my head. Same thought. And I was like, that only happens a few times in my life, and I have to write it down. Hey, chick. I love to look.
Shut the front door. Get out of town.
I love her.
Oh, I needed that in LSD. The other one, LSD. Yeah, that's me. That is. Don't let that go, chick, because that was one of the more classic. Just never. Don't do that.
So before we get started, I'm just going to read something that was on my mind for just, if I didn't write it down and verbalize it, I'm just going to, don't be sorry, Chick Tracy. We love you. We love you.
I was saying, like, seriously, don't ever not do it because now it sticks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this is a little bit of my feelings from what I've been going through this week and what I've seen. But really, it's kind of a letter to Victor. I know. Hi, Chico. Lefty. I know. It's a letter to Victor, but it is. And I really just want to get this out. So if you'll just indulge me for just 2 minutes, he'll never hear it and it's okay. I just need to verbalize it. I need to get it off my chest. So I literally wrote this 2 seconds before we went live. As I sit here and ponder the day, I'm less anxious than I was yesterday. I'm finding it easier to watch the process of justice take its course. I've been insecure even though I think the state and all the amazing, intelligent, expert witnesses have done an outstanding job. In the case against Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez, I watch him bounce around the courtroom. I watched him enjoy the days in the courtroom. I watched him smile inappropriately at things he shouldn't. I saw him lose that positivity today. From August 5th, 2023 to today, you thought you won, Victor. Today I saw you. I saw how scared you were. While God says I must have compassion, I'm not there yet. I was elated at your short, forlorn statue today. I enjoyed watching you sink a little lower in your chair as they read the results of the DNA testing. Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez could not be ruled out, but every other male in the Northwestern Hemisphere could. I relished. I cried tears of joy when the DNA matched. When she actually said the word matched, I cried. You said you were a man of God in the interrogation video, and you couldn't do that damage to a person. A direct quote, but you did. Oops, sorry. Oh, goodness, sorry. I hope maybe someday you will find God. I hear many find him in prison. Here's the thing. If you looked for him 2 years ago, you wouldn't be here. Someday, I may feel guilty about these feelings, but not today. Because, Victor, you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been, and it's all been a pack of lies. That's it. That's all I had to say. And just getting that off my chest makes me feel better.
Okay, well said.
Thanks.
And actually, you just reminded me of something you told me today, and I'm writing it down so I don't forget.
What is
I
it?
remember it. When I told Chico, it reminded me.
What is it?
The travel stuff, locations.
I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know what that means.
The Memphis thing. Sorry, I'll just put that name.
What?
Memphis.
Oh, you can. I mean, he took the bus. We know how he got around. He took the flipping bus.
And apparently there was a ticket. I was like, Memphis was brought up, and I was like, Chico's gonna love that. She would have kicked his butt if she ever knew.
Oh, had I known, I'd have sent her right out there after him. Mm-hmm. She'd have fixed his little red wagon. Thanks, Nicole. It's just, it is beyond reasonable. Today was a good day. It was every day that we go into court, we learn so much about things we didn't know. Some things we did know. some things we've kept under our hats, and some things have not, we didn't know a daggone thing about. We just didn't know anything about it. And listening, when you're hearing these expert, hey, exiled one, when you're hearing these amazing, hey, thanks for becoming a member. And I would have claimed, and you know what? I'd have had that bail money ready for you, sister. No doubt. No doubt.
I really did say that, Chico, and Tia knows, because when she said, I was like, Chico would have did that.
She'd have whooped up on him.
I just was like, she's gonna love this one.
Today, every day is a good day in court. Let me tell you. Maybe not for him, but for us. Those of us on the side of good and not evil. There's always the bail fund in the back pocket, right? I'm going to give you a couple things about today that happened, and then we're going to go back and we're going to talk about the entire week. We're going to start at the beginning and just give you, some broad notes on what happened every day this week. So today we started, it's day 6. We started at 9:34. The jury entered at 9:40. And Detective Philip Golden was on the stand from yesterday. Okay. Amen. 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 So yesterday we saw a few minutes of interrogation video. And it was the first time that I actually heard Victor's voice. It's not a powerful voice. It's interesting because the word coward comes to mind, and Matt has been calling him a coward since day one, since before we knew his name. He is like, this guy's a total coward. He is a total coward. And I'm telling you, no truer words were ever spoken. He is 100% titty baby bitch. I would say it to his face if I thought I wouldn't get arrested. But let me tell you, there's a lot of damn cops around me in there. So I can't do anything because we don't want any mistrials. So I keep it to myself and I pray after. So we started right in on interrogation video today, and he was talking about Marcos Campos. That's the guy you lived with here in Bel Air. And how Detective Golden had spoke to him at his home on the front porch about Victor. And then we kind of recapped on a few things. Then they turned on the interrogation video again. And it was Detective Golden, Detective Ross, and forgive me, I have his name written down. He is a translator. He's actually not a translator. He is an officer at the detention center. Crespo, I think is his name. And they were in the interview room. Victor agreed to answer questions as long as he had an attorney present. So they grabbed a public defender who could speak Spanish, and she joined him. And she certainly didn't help him, which was brilliant. And they talked. And one of the first questions was, had you heard or, did you know Rachel Morin? And he says, no. Have you ever been to Maryland? No. Do you know where Maryland is? Okay.
8 Ball says try again.
What?
I said the 8 Ball says try again.
Oh, so Detective Golden presses on and he's like, okay, well, what brought you to Tulsa? There was like no, you know, whatever. So he asked again, you ever been to Maryland? Uh-uh. Detective Golden says, well, that's interesting because, hang on one second, I'm going to present something here. Because I have this photo of you. And it says it was taken in Maryland. Victor, is that you? Yeah. Yeah, that's me. But I wasn't in Maryland. And Detective Golden, risky business. Detective Golden is very soft spoken, very direct, but very soft spoken. It doesn't seem like a guy that rattles real easily, right? So he's just kind of sitting real, I would say relaxed ish until I see he's kind of swaying in his chair a little bit. And I remember right then, you know how you watch things and then you try and process them and then you never remember them at the right moment? That's me all the time. But I had this moment where I remember watching the behavioral panel. And they are a group of men. If you don't know, go look them up on YouTube. They do body language, behavioral analysis. They're great guys, right? And one of the things that Chase Hughes says about body language is when you're nervous, you're lying, or whatever, there's energy cannot be contained in your body. You know, you can keep a straight face, but you might twitch. You might move your hand or shake your leg. Or in the case of Victor, you might sway your chair back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Only though at certain questions when they were asked, like, do you have family in Maryland? No. Back and forth. You ever been to Maryland? No. Where'd this picture come from? I don't know. But that's you. Yeah, that's me. Maybe somebody photoshopped it. I don't think so. So he presses on. He says, the girl in this photo that's not shown, she's your cousin, right? I don't know. I don't have any family there. Who's Edith? I don't know. You didn't message her? Uh-uh. Okay. So, any reason why when we spoke to your family, they gave us this picture? Nuh-uh. I don't have any family. I don't know. You don't have any family from your mother's side? And I have a note in my notes that says sways and chairs. So he's swaying again. When we spoke to your family, they showed us this picture. I don't know. I haven't traveled over there. You never left property in Maryland? No. I don't know what about that photo. Do you understand where Maryland is? No. Could you have been there and you didn't know? I wasn't aware. Do you know what DNA is? Yeah. So you know it's like from blood, saliva, semen, that kind of thing? For sure he understands what DNA is. Oh, yeah. Each person has their own specific DNA, and no two people have the same DNA unless you're identical twins. Do you have an identical twin? Mm-mm. Detective Golden wants to make sure that Victor understands. So he says, DNA is like fingerprints. Do you know what that means? Yep. So each has their own individual fingerprint. That's what DNA is. Okay. Every interview, Golden does this, he says. He tries to make people understand what DNA is, where the location is. And Victor comes back with, well, so Detective Golden says the property we collected from your family is yours. And he said, how do you know it's mine? And Detective Golden says, well, we have our ways of knowing. And at the bottom of the screen, they show the picture. It's this picture. And he says, yeah, that's me. Mm-hmm. I think Detective Ross shows him the picture. Does he understand that picture was taken in Maryland? Yeah, but he was never there. So, it must be planted. DNA off the property collected comes back to him. Didn't admit to knowing anywhere where the picture came from. In investigating a murder of a female, we have DNA from the crime scene. He says, but I haven't done anything. You never hurt anyone? No. So he explains how DNA is at the crime scene. Victor says, I don't know. Anyone can do damage. With all they have out there, he says they can take a piece of hair or sweat and plant it and say it's me. This is a conversation I'm watching. And I'm losing it. Yeah.
The feces that were left, did he ever address that? Because you want to plant evidence, I've heard of
we'll get to that. We will get to that. Get to that. So he says, I don't know. Anyone can do damage with all that's out there. You can take a piece of hair or sweat. Now, I want to know, how do you take sweat from a human? Riddle me that. Because that's just gross. There's a lot of gross things about Victor that came to light today. I can't wait to share them with you because that is all in my head and I want that to go away. This dirty, filthy, disgusting, vile piece of crap. Hey, Dutchie, touched an angel. Honest to God. So evidence had to come from your body, Golden says. He said, didn't know how I got there. Someone doing harm could steal DNA from me and place it at that scene. He said, it's not a physical object that was dropped. Victor says, how can I do damage to someone like that? Throughout the interview, they kept asking about the DNA and the science behind it. Also, they kept asking about the DNA at the crime scene. He continued to deny being involved. So they go on to another video. And they said, they're here to try and find out why your DNA would be there. So he comes up with, well, we're on to something else. My daughter. Someone probably took my daughter's DNA and planted it where someone would do damage. People don't like me. And Detective Golden says, why wouldn't anybody like you? Right there, I fell in love. I was like, Golden, you are golden. You are my man. Why wouldn't anybody like you? Because you're vile and disgusting. He said something about the mother of his child, even though I didn't really hear it, but something maybe she had to do with planting it. We go on to another video. We understand that there are good people and there are people who do things they wouldn't normally do. He says, and I quote, he serves God. Sometimes things go out of the ordinary, Golden says. If something like that happened, we need to know. He's trying to give him an out. Here's your out, buddy. Here's your leg up. You're going to need it. Sometimes evil people do bad things, and sometimes good people do bad things. I didn't do anything wrong in relations, except for a chica that I had relations with. a chica meaning the mother of his child.
I just went. Lena, I think is in chat. So sorry. I think the hat that was
Lana?
left in LA was no, it's a different one. Left in LA was a red hat.
It
It wasn't a
was.
yellow one.
No, it wasn't this one. This one was taken.
It was.
His
This is different.
cousin, Jose Ivan, gave him this hat at Christmas. This
Yeah,
was a different hat.
yeah. The hat in LA was red. It was still a Jordan hat, but it was different. Just wanted to correct that. Sorry. Continue.
So, you never murdered anyone? Nope. How do you explain your DNA? Don't know. If you were in our shoes, Victor, how can you explain? You say you don't understand. He says, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. So, could you explain how it got there? Someone planted my DNA. Mother trucker, no one planted your DNA. Okay. But I'm sitting there and I'm seething. I am seething in my chair as I'm listening to this. And I'm listening to his voice, and it's just, ugh, it's really frustrating. And if I'm seething in my chair, I can only imagine how others feel. Right? Hey, Ava. And you don't have to listen in the bushes, Ava. So have you ever contacted or been to the home of your family? He says, nope. Well, Edith lives in Temple Hills. Don't know her. You ID'd yourself in the picture, and that picture was taken in the apartment. He says, nope. Like, nope. Okay. I don't know who she is, he says. Jose Ivan? Don't know. I've heard of him a long time ago when I was 12 or 13 years old. He came to us, but we didn't know anything of him. Jose only heard of him when he was younger. And they say, so the apartment's in Maryland. They ID'd you. They gave us the photo, and you were there recently. He said, I could never travel there. Maybe someone took the picture of him and, did a little number on it. Detective Golden, very calm, says, okay, all right, maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm. What about that door, that front door camera video that we have of you going in and out? I can't tell you, he says. How can I travel there? And Detective Golden now busted out. And this is where I loved him. Hey, Carrie, welcome in. We're glad to have you. They say, we have your old phone, your clothes, and they tested for your DNA. He says, well, I just don't think it's mine. He goes on to another video. How can you be sure it's me? It's your DNA. He says, no. He says, do you have an address in Tulsa? And he doesn't know of course he doesn't know the address. He doesn't know his phone number. Sorry, that's my dog. Doesn't know his phone number, doesn't know his address, but they get it. And they show him a picture and they say, is this where you live? He says, yes. He said, we're going there. And he's like, why are you going there? He's like, we're going to collect evidence. So they have a search warrant. They go to this house. Tulsa helped. Goodness, could you pipe down? I'm trying to talk here. Thank you. Yeah. So then the state starts asking, did Tulsa help? Yes. Did you go there, Golden? Yes. Did you get evidence? Yes. Then they show the evidence from the home in Tulsa. They show a bedroom with a mattress on the floor and a book bag. And the book bag has contents of 2 bus tickets, one from Memphis to Oklahoma, a laptop, credit cards for travel on a bus, the FBI card, which was found, you know, the FBI went to speak with his family in Temple Hills prior to Harford County getting there. Um, and he had the credit cards on him and a copy of a pawn receipt that was in his name. They all took that custody. They brought it back. They photoed it in the lab, and they showed us that today. More detail up close. Victor Antonio was on the pawn receipt. It wasn't his last name, but it was his name, and the bus ticket did have his name as well. After the search, did he come with you? He's Detective Golden says no. Okay, hold on one second. They needed to waive extradition or get a warrant, and they didn't have it, so they were just going to wait. June 20th, he went to Tulsa to bring Victor back with him to Maryland. We all saw that beautiful footage, right? You know, that footage of him getting off Con Air with those big fellas with the Harford County Sheriff. Yeah, they were cool. Those are my boys. I like them. I like those fellas. They make me happy. They make me smile because Victor looked like a titty baby bitch again.
Well, not only do they do that, but they made her like it uplifted her so much that she drove by like the jail and all I get a picture of is Tia with her finger up at the jail, like just be like welcome home. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
what are
my
you
god,
talking about? I was just waving. It was just a
I
salute.
know.
Oh, let me see. I got to find the picture now.
I don't. That was all funny. That's what I get. I was like, you need to go home right now. We do not have bail money for you at this moment.
So I was
Yep.
trying desperately.
I'm sorry.
This was,
No, no, Dash, tell her. I
listen,
know.
listen,
It's not a dog,
sir,
y'all.
what's
It's
up?
not a dog.
So they had just gotten off the
I,
plane. I saw the notice that they were like on the way to the detention center. I hopped in my car. I flew. I was going to get a ticket. I swear. If I didn't get one that day, I was so lucky. I flew over there and I missed him by like 5 minutes because everybody was still outside. All the cars were there and everything, and he was inside. So I walked right up the parking lot, past all the big dudes, and flipped him the bird. And I took the picture and I came back. Oh my God, hold on.
yeah, see, y'all try to be locked in a room with that dog when we don't get along, and y'all see what happens. And I don't share my Cheerios. I might be 41 years old, but I still like Cheerios. And I don't share them necessarily willingly, but I did it to accommodate that little thing that y'all heard, and you still don't
So
love
I
me.
flew over there. I did this on a live, by the way. I hop out of my car, I run down, I take a picture, and I flip him the bird, right? And coming back, I stopped and there was a couple officers. I pulled over and I was like, "So, what you guys doing?" And they look at me and they're like, "No, no, no, no. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I came to wish Victor Hernandez, you know, I wanted to welcome him here." And I showed them the picture and they laughed. And I was like, cool, I'm going to go before I get arrested. So that was the day that
Mhm.
Victor arrived. If we're telling stories and all. Um, okay, so the pawn receipt had his name on it. The bus ticket had his name on it. They had his phone. They want to know what you do after. Did he come with you? No. Okay. So, they collected DNA from him. They did. Detective Golden grabbed latex gloves, swabbed his mouth, sealed it, sent it to the Maryland State Police Forensic Lab. And he's not sure when the date was that he took it over there, but he did it. And then they showed a picture of his shoes that he was arrested in. They were black and purple Under Armour high tops. They were recovered from Tulsa. The bus tickets, a credit card for the bus, the receipts, all that was collected. DNA swabs from the inside of his cheek were sent. Then cross happens. And so you traveled to Tulsa. This is them cross-examining Detective Golden. So you went to Tulsa. Yeah, we did. Who went? And he gives a list of names. Sergeant Crespo, Detective Ross, myself all went. They wanted to know what Victor's demeanor was. And it was really interesting. Was he calm? Detective Golden gives if you know LFT and I, we say ish all the time. Like, are you okay ish? I mean, I'm okay ish. Yeah. I'm not great. I'm tired, but I'm okay. Golden gave an ish. He said, was he calm? Ish. Was he nervous? More nervous than anybody else being interrogated by the police for murder. He didn't appear nervous. Was he willing to speak? Yeah, he just wanted his attorney present, and he did. He spoke about the cell, the clothes in PG County, which is Prince George's County, Maryland, by the way. That's where he was living when he was here. They had to clarify, was it the same phone that he was arrested with that they confiscated? He actually had two different phones, one that they confiscated from Tulsa and one that they had from when they searched the house in Temple Hills. Did you ask him about the items collected in Tulsa? That was after the interview. Golden took the swabs and he said he wasn't especially nervous. Were you there in the house when it was searched? Yes, there were 2 to 3 people living there. It was multi people in multi beds in multi rooms. So he was sharing a room with plenty of people. We'll come back to that because apparently he's gross. As if you guys didn't already know that, right? What's Matt saying? Is he chattering in here? This is so. So many times the defense asks questions that just strengthen the state's case. It was so awesome. And the best part about it is everyone's like, oh my God, the defense, they are awful. Da-da-da. I'm like, are you kidding? They're wonderful. We love them for Victor.
That's I love it. Like if it had been on Court TV, if you could see the two of us, y'all would be like, I need it like a double screen to see what they're saying in court, and then I need to see LFT and Tia's reactions because we'd be like, keep going, do it.
Oh, it was great. I was like, everybody's like getting so mad because they're like, oh, the defense team. And I'm like, are you kidding? They're the greatest thing, some sliced bread. I couldn't wish anything better for Victor.
Also, good to know he's used to sharing space, bedroom, or like
he's used more to than one small spaces with a lot of men. I have some questions on Victor. I don't think, and this is speculation, Your Honor, but I'm going to say it. I don't think Victor's all that straight. And I have some questions.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if he is or if he isn't or anyone else. That is no, oh God. I just didn't.
It is my opinion that Victor may not just be a ladies' man. I think he might be a man's man. When you
have to take him down by force, you're not a ladies' man.
Well, this is true. So they go back to, was he nervous? Was he more nervous during the DNA? What was his demeanor, his body language? And all of a sudden, it's so funny because Detective Golden says, well, he's swaying from front to back and side to side. Usually that means they're nervous. I was like, oh my God, you watched. I'm thinking this. You watched the behavioral panel too. And then I thought to myself, you're probably pretty educated. You probably don't watch them. Exactly. Exactly. So then the best thing happened. Throughout this trial, I have had some personal favorites come up to the stand. Y'all know, because I have said who my personal favorites are, and I make no bones about it. I really don't. Detective Wilsinski is a personal favorite. I love him. And whenever he testified, I soaked up every word. I thought he was great. He dotted his I's and crossed his T's, and he is just my kind of guy. Like he was really interesting to listen to.
Oh
Side note,
gosh, is he the one that am I going to be so embarrassed? The one that I thought was so cute. Like I was like, who is that?
I don't know, but you
Remember?
should probably not. Um, and then yes,
All
and
right.
then obviously my girl crush. Obviously, she was amazing. That is Officer Delmont. She was the one who actually arrested Victor. We showed the body cam. It was awesome. Like, he was very clear and articulate. He was very clear and articulate. Um, so Tiffany Keener hit the stand today. And all week I've been waiting for DNA. And then when it happened, I was like literally dozing off. I was like, this isn't going well. This isn't going well. This is not what I thought it was going to be at all. And we went through her resume. 18 years, she'll be there in August. She's a supervisor. She does DNA cases. She testifies. She analyzes cases. She's assigned cases. She assigns cases to others. She reviews cases. She does forensic serology DNA for 16 years. She's very, very talented, and very smart. In the event you don't know what serology is, it's body fluids. It's blood, semen, and saliva. And DNA. Okay, I'm going to try and go through some of this, but I have so many notes. She was talking so fast. DNA is transferable to a person or object, a person to person, or an object to object. Okay. Oh, look, Shifty would share with you. That's so sweet, my Shifty. So STR analysis is short tandem repeats of differences, and you match them up from the same sample. Okay. I hope that makes sense, because I don't know what it means. I'm going to have to go through these notes, and y'all are going to have to look it up. And we're going to look up some case law after this, because there's a lot of stuff that I wrote down that I'm not educated on, and I want to be. Detection. I'm trying to skip over. So the number of times is repeated is known as DNA to comparison. Determine who, but not when it's deposited. I hope that makes sense. STR testing is locations on DNA. It's unique. ID'd to make a comparison. YSTR is the same, but a small amount of it's like small pieces of DNA that are for males only. Your dad hands it to his son. Your grandfather hands it to your dad. Your dad hands it to your son. It's male handed down. Okay. So the YSTR is the male DNA. It's that Y chromosome. So there's STR and YSTR. The Y is the male chromosome. We need to know this because we need to know whether it's male or female DNA, right? So the same process, different locations. Father, son. It's how you decide which is which. And then there's you qualify and quantify it. Okay. So there's a series of numbers that come out of it, and you take those numbers and you qualify and quantify them, and it gives you your odds of matching. Okay. Does everybody get that? Tell me yes. Please tell me yes. And all these procedures at the Maryland State Police are acceptable through science. She says yes. Is it a secure area? Yes. Very secure. The unit is a section where she goes to pick up. It's sealed, and there's a chain of command where she gets the samples. Um, and she wears a PPE, personal protection equipment. She wears a lab coat, goggles, and gloves, and a respirator. Her area is always bleached after every step. Her tools are bleached. Her gloves are bleached. Oh, you do, Carrie? Oh, that's cool. Well, maybe you can teach us something here. So she bleaches every item used each time. And she did the testing for the Rachel Morin case. All the stages. So not all of the tests were done at the same time. There were 6 reports done because there were times that, well, for instance, when they collected at the crime scene, that was one report. And then when they collected something else, it was another report. So we're going to go through the reports, but I'm going to do it kind of quickly because I also want to go through the rest of the week. So each report has a date and what the items for testing, right? So the first one was the first report was August 31st, 2023. And that had 13 items for testing. There were swabs for her right wrist and broken nails. And okay, let me state this because I'm going to buzz through some of these so we can get to like the good shit, right? So, for each test, you do a series of multi-testing to see if blood is present, which is, the one test I described, and then to see if you can just get DNA from it. So on 8/13, there was 13 items for testing. I won't go through all the items. I can tell you some of them. But you test for serology, which is blood, semen, or saliva. She ran this for all the items that she thought she could get serology on. On one of them, this was, what was number 2? I don't know what number 2 is. I have them all listed here, but I don't know what it is. The swab was the left wrist. Blood was indicated on that one. Blood was indicated from her chest. There was a water bottle that was found. There was a swab on the outside. Blood was detected. They swabbed the water bottle for the mouth. There was no serology, but they did collect DNA. And there was nail clippings from both her hands. They tested for blood, no blood on the right, but the left did have blood. And then they did an anterior neck swab. And yes, that tested for blood. And then they did the vaginal swab, which was taken to identify whether she was raped. So a protocol, they evaluate any DNA from male to female. Okay. So in some cases, you're going to have major, minor, and what was the third one? Major, minor, and substantial. I think that's what it was. And if DNA was present, then no serology was done. That doesn't make sense. Oh, because I'm reading the wrong one. So some of the things that they didn't do serology on is when you die, the ME does a blood card on you. That is your DNA and your blood type. And that is sent over to, for comparison use, right? Also, there were people who, hang on one second. Sperm DNA spermal extraction of sperm cells. Okay, I missed that one. Went for the amount of DNA, but no suitable for number 4. If there isn't enough DNA, quantitative, then obviously they can't test it. Major, minor, and significant contributors. That's what it is. Major, minor, and significant contributors. Major is peaks. The peaks are higher. There's more DNA in use. To make a comparison, a higher amount of a single DNA to make a profile. Significant contribution. It's in higher amounts, but it's not. And then minor, well, you guys get it. I don't have to explain that. So her neck swab was a mixture of major male and an unknown male and major unknown male, 2 contributors, and 1 was Rachel. Okay. So the DNA profile came from 1 unknown male. Then they tested a couple of people that they got, they received, hey, cotton candy, that they received tips on. And these guys were tested against the number 1 male unknown. So of all the, all the things that they tested, they did this for every test. Okay. So for instance, Richard Tobin was tested. His DNA was not found. It was just not found. I think it was found in one place, and it wasn't, it was unremarkable, if you will. Okay. Oh my. Hold on.
Oh, no. You're good. Keep going. No, keep going.
Jesus.
You're good.
Okay. So they had 2 contributors, 1 male, 1 female, no major, no minor, and they could exclude Richard Tobin. The unknown male 1 is consistent. I'm trying to find the list of names. Okay. So
there was a long
words.
list.
I want to tell you these words because these are important words and I want you to understand and look them up. Centillion, octillion, centillion, octillion, dectillion. These are numbers with like 20. Octillion has 27 zeros behind it. Centillion has 24 zeros behind it. Okay. So if you're 1 in 1.380 centillion to match someone else in the United States. Okay. These tests are all USA based. Why? Because we're doing it in the USA. We're not doing it in Canada or anywhere else. It is so rare. The odds of it happening are 1 in 10 octillion, right? So they kept coming back with DNA with Rachel and an unknown, unrelated person. And they went and they would match them up with other people. And when that happened, they could exclude people. For instance, they were able to exclude Richard Tobin right off the bat. And then, like I said, they had some tips for some other fellows that came in who all voluntarily gave their DNA, by the way. No one was like, I won't give it to you. They all were like, yeah, we'll give it to you. And I'm going to cut to the chase. All those people were eliminated. Okay. Except one guy. Except one. The unknown number 1 male. Okay. Kept coming back. So then we're going to cut to when Tiffany gets Victor Antonio. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Matt. Done your brain and guess. Um, so what she would do is every report she got, she would run that against the last report. So if she got new shoes with a new person on there, she would run that person against all the other people. And every time she did it, she she could rule someone out, you know, except one. So some of the things that were tested, they got a bag of dirty clothes and a bag of clean clothes from the apartment in Temple Hills. Those items were tested. They got socks. They got shoes. Um, they got
Tia,
a
keep talking. Keep talking. Continue to talk. I'm just going to share the socks, shoes, just those two as you continue.
they got. I have personally named this the ugly shirt because no one in their right flippin' mind would wear this shirt ever, but he did. That shirt had 3 contributors, one male. Oh no, 3 males. For instance, his shoes had 2 contributors. This one, I literally barfed. That's not it. Hello?
Oh my gosh, I'm talking and y'all can't hear me. I'm saying, I'm so sorry. My screen locked. I had the shoes up and it didn't load. My bad. The shoes are on my screen, and for some reason it went from
Okay.
socks and then didn't.
So the socks came up with 2 contributors. This one made me gag, and I'm not even kidding you. His toothbrush had partial DNA, could no results, but it had 3 contributors. What? Are you sharing your toothbrush? Clearly you're not using it. Have you seen his snaggle ass teeth? What? Gross. I almost lost it in there. I was like, ew, you nasty piece of shit. These are the Fila shoes that she had up. There were 2 unknown. All others could be excluded except, you can all say it with me, 1. The ugly shirt, 2 contributors. All could be excluded except 1. Stain on the rock was blood. Stain on the wall in the tunnel was blood. The high top that he was arrested in, no serology was done, but DNA was taken. They took a swab. Bottom line, all the things that came back were tested. This is a moment I got tears and I got a little. No, I'm not kidding. Nicole, I swear to God. I was literally like, I was trying so hard not to puke in there because I was like, who the hell has 3? Oh. Worst thing, there was a hair in the toothbrush. What? Okay, that thing is not used. You just get, I don't know what the hell. I have so many thoughts on that. Gross. Grosser than gross. Bottom line is there was 1 major male contributor at the crime scene other than Rachel's female DNA. Finally, on page 7 of the report, they were able to match Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez to the crime scene, which means when they mathematically did this, matching Victor up against, let me get this number right, where'd it go? 900, it's 1 person to 980 octillion. Okay. So, number one unknown male now is matched to Victor. It's 1 in 10 decillion. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. And it's unreasonable to calculate as it was random. So I literally cried. Tears streamed. And I wrote down the time. It was 2:48. There were, I'm trying to think where their names. I think there was 5 people. I know there was more people, but today they only talked about the 5 that were compared. There was a couple of Hispanic men that came in for testing, and Richard Tobin, a couple others. No big deal. It doesn't matter. You could pick Joe Blow off the street and it wouldn't matter because it didn't match. Victor was the match. There is no way on God's green earth the odds that someone could plant his DNA. And I'm going to say this, it's going to sting a little bit, and I apologize, but there is no way in God's green earth that his DNA was planted on and inside Rachel Morin. The odds were in the decillions, octillions, quintillion, quadrillion. Okay? You feeling me? You feeling me? That was the moment Tiffany was like, I was like, okay, I'm with you. Because I'm taking all these notes. And she's talking about all the tests she did and all the things that she tested against. And then we tested Richard. And then we tested Joe Blow. And we tested this guy and that guy. And we tested the ugly shirt. And there was 3 contributors. And every time she said it, Victor Martinez Hernandez could not be excluded. Swabs could not be excluded. The stain in the tunnel was Rachel. It was in the octillions. Okay. It would be, you could not find another human being with those numbers. Not in this, not in the US. Okay. Not in the world, but not in the US. Odds of that happening are in the octillions. What did I say? 27 zeros? Okay. I'm feeling secure now. So she goes down the list and talks about all, like I said, all the things, all the tests that were done. And Victor cannot, I have it written probably 100 times. Every time she said it, I wrote it down. I'm getting choked up again because it made me feel so good. It was tears of joy. And like, we just won the Super Bowl and I wanted to scream and be like, yes, like you want to do all these things in the court and you can't do that. You have to remain. The judge is so classy. You can't, she's very elegant. You can't be jumping up and down going, woo, 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 which is what I wanted to do. But then she starts quantifying her math. And it was so interesting. And then I told LFT that when I put my notes together, hopefully this weekend, I'm going to do a chart and show all the things that were tested with all the numbers that were tested on it to show you how it is mathematically impossible to have another unrelated male that wasn't Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. The shoes, his Fila shoes that we just saw, cannot be excluded. The shirt could not be excluded. The stain on the wall, the male DNA, there was a small amount, partial, DNA, by the way. Wasn't even full DNA on the wall. Couldn't be excluded. But you know what was excluded? Let me tell you what was excluded. Every other male on the planet. Basically, every other male in the United States. Oh, yeah, there's the ugly sweatshirt. Tell me you wouldn't wear. Who would wear that? I would not wear that. I'm sorry. That's ugly. That's ugly. It's literally named in my notes from the second I saw it, the ugly sweatshirt.
No offense to whomever purchased it, but I'm not wearing it.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was
I mean,
purchased.
I don't know if that was one you
much like all
borrowed.
of
I
his
don't trust
items.
anything that I don't trust anything that I don't think he brought very much with him. I don't know if he yanked that from someone else. So give it in case that is something that if someone else is like, what the hell? That is my sweatshirt, and he farted it. Like, we're not dissing them. We're dissing the person who was wearing it at the time. That's it.
Still ugly. I
But
don't care if you're wearing it or
I
not.
don't
I'm
love
going to
it.
tell you it's
I don't
ugly
love it.
because I'm going to walk up to you and go, change that sweatshirt. It's ugly.
Could you see that with
So,
like my polo underneath it? No.
well, it wouldn't matter because I'm going to walk up to you and I'm going to tell you it's ugly. Take it off. So transfer DNA was a question. And she then again said it can be transferred person to person, object to person, and object to object. She labels, okay, this is cross-examination I'm going through right now. Talking about her desk and could she, how'd she keep it clean? Well, you tell me how she kept it clean because we already went through that, right? She bleaches it. Changes gloves constantly, wears PPE, all the things. Does she keep contact with Ellie? Yes. There's a chain of command. Again, we go through the DNA and so the defense has been trying since day one to okay, cool. What was interesting is they've been trying to place this at the feet of Richard Tobin since day one. He was with her. They were dating. His DNA was on her, right? Well, it really wasn't. She showered, and you also find out how the body flushes DNA all over the place. You transfer it, etc. So U.S. data location we were in and always used the U.S. population. Cross continued. Let's see. So on to the feces that was found in the tunnel. If you didn't know, one of the most amazing things about Victor is that he decided to defecate in the tunnel at some point during the attack. So he left that prize. They did not test it because of the amount of bacteria in it. And you can get DNA out of feces. You absolutely can. She opted not to because it's just not the best source to test, she said. It doesn't have a great method of success like the other items would. And then they talked about the cross said, what about the vaginal swabs? Was it vaginal or was it, her cervix? And she said, well, they're different. Your cervix because they were trying to say how the vagina holds DNA for 5 days. And I love this for her because she said, no, actually it's 3 days. The cervix holds it for 5 days. So I learned a little something there too. She was full of DNA knowledge. And she just kept saying the sample cannot exclude Victor. She couldn't explain, like they're trying to pin it on Richard. And they were trying to get her to explain the lack of DNA from Richard Tobin. And you can't, how do you qualify a negative? You don't, right? So she kept saying, like, I, I can only compare what's there. I can't compare what's not. And this takes me back to day one in the opening statements when the defense is trying to say to us, um, look at the gaps, look what's not being said. You know, they're trying to lead you down a path of, oh, let's question, why isn't his DNA there? Because she took a shower. Okay. She took a shower. And the more the body moves, the more flushing happens. And I'm not just talking about vaginal, I'm talking about everywhere. You know, you drink water or you work out, you sweat, all those things. And they kept trying to bring her back to the lack of DNA. Again, she kept saying, like, can't work with what I don't have. It doesn't work like that. So they, at 4:09, things got a little hairy. And it was a weird vibe. And we sidebarred for a few minutes. And then we took a recess. And it was kind of a long recess. And I was like, all right, what's going on here? And I thought, oh my God, I hope we're not losing another juror. That's all I could think of. I don't want to lose another juror. And then we came back and we sidebarred again. Well, we started at 4:08 and it ended at 4:52. And at 4:54, Allison Healy stands up in the microphone, clear as day, and states, Your Honor, the state rests. And I had that moment again where I was like, hell yeah. Yes. Because Allison Healy and her team brought forth a unbelievable, amazing, airtight case against Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. It was something to watch. And the fact that I got to be there and watch her, and I told you guys on last Friday, she's not theatrical. She's not, it's not entertaining. You're not like, ooh, what's she going to say next? It's nothing like that. You're hanging on her every word because everything she says is important. That's all she puts out is the important stuff. There's no fluff. You don't have to sift it out. You don't have to listen to a lot of bull with Allison. She just delivers straight shooting. And I love her. And everything she brought, she had her I's dotted and her T's crossed. And they said the defense is up Monday and potential deliberation Monday. Oh, that was easy. So we meet again on Monday. But wait, there's more. Because just when you think you're going to get up and leave at, what did I say, 4:54, when the divine Allison Healy says she rested, the defense stands up and says, motion for acquittal for the kidnapping charge. What? What? I'm sorry, Sawyer Hicks. What the hell did you just say? And I'm like, what? And I think everybody in the courtroom at that moment was like, what? So he starts stating case law about how the kidnapping charge should be acquitted. And this is where I said we're going to have to look this stuff up because I'm going to present this stuff again. I promise you. Once I have a better understanding of it, we're coming back to talk about this. He lists a couple of cases, some case law, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Jury instruction with the case law, paragraph 2, nonsense. Then he has the nerve to say in open court, 150 feet isn't that far to drag someone. I know he has a job to do. I get it. I understand. He's doing the best he can with what he has to work with. That was a hell of a thing to hear as an outsider. I cannot believe that. I don't know. I don't know how other family members reacted to that because I refused to look over. I was like, whoa. So he wanted to drop the kidnapping charge, et cetera, et cetera. And they have their back and forth. And Allison stands up and she says, okay, cool. I got this. She takes the same case law and reads it back, only she reads the entire thing, which is way more clear when she does it, by the way. And then she just kind of sits down quietly, and we're all looking at the judge, and the judge says, I need to take this under advisement. Okay. Denied. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was denied. Monday is the defense's closing arguments. Well, actually, they have the right to call people if they have them. I don't know if they will. I don't want to jump.
It is, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yes, it is like 9. They do have 9, but one of them was, I think, who's the detective we like?
Who's what?
Wilsinski, what's his name? I always miss. Yes. He was one of he's on the defense list as well, because they only have 9 people, and he was one of them, as well as some other people who were on the state's list and had already been called. So I don't anticipate it being an extensive
Well, they can be called again. They can be called again.
But that was it. I mean, I'm saying the fact is that the people have a handful of the people that they have on their list have already been on the stand. And
that doesn't matter. They can be questioned by the defense. The thing is, they've been excused. So they won't be back. They're done. So that's what's interesting is they've been excused. So now let's go back and recap the entire week, since you guys know what happened today. So day 1 was opening statements. I told you that the state walked in with 9 binders for the state and 1 for the defense. And as the state opened, she kind of goes through the timeline, right? Yeah, I don't think they're going to, let's put it this way. Maybe they'll do 1 witness, but I don't think they're going to I really don't think they're going to do any. I really think it's a wrap, boys and girls. Honestly, I just keep saying, it's like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It really is. It's just awful. So Monday was opening statements. Allison Healy goes through and basically presents the case in opening statements. She does a timeline from the moment that Rachel goes missing, leaves her home, goes to the 2 stores, goes to the trail, winds up missing, right? We declare her time of death between 7:04 and 7:10. We later find out that we have a more narrowed down time for that. She talks about how Victor comes into the picture and that DNA comes into the picture. We talk about Victor's family in there. There's photo evidence, a Facebook profile, a phone number, all that gets pinged leads to Victor in Tulsa, the arrest, etc. Then she goes through and talks about his work history in Bel Air, of which he's never been to, the places he's lived, and all of that fun stuff, although he's never been here. And then Sawyer Hicks comes up, and I literally have, what did I say I had? 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of notes for opening statements for Allison Healy. I have a half a page for Sawyer Hicks. He speaks to the process. You must be fair and impartial. Most know something about this case. There's been media coverage. There's talks of presumed innocent, but the state has to be, proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And he says here, remember, I just said this a few minutes ago, consider what you don't hear, the gaps. What are the unanswered questions? They have the burden of proof. Witnesses will have little mention of Victor Martinez Hernandez. Now, I will tell you that every single solitary witness had a whole lot to say about him. It wasn't little mention, it was a whole damn lot. Witnesses, let's see. This was my favorite thing that he said. He exclaimed that Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez was innocent. And then Rachel wakes up with Richard. He leaves around noon. They text on and off all day. She goes to the trail daily. They met at the trail, and then at 7 p.m. she stopped responding. Where Sawyer then comes up with 3 things. Where's the motive? Because it's a crime of passion, he says. No stranger would do this. Hey, Cotton Candy, thank you. Thank you for the super sticker. That's awesome. Thank you so much. It's a crime of passion. This was not a stranger. She was left to humiliate someone she knows did this to her. And then where's the connection? Do they have one? They canvassed, but where's the connection? And where is Richard Tobin's DNA? You can't declare evidence, like absence of evidence is not evidence. And that's what they're trying to prove. Absence of evidence is not evidence. Can we hashtag that? Because I kind of want Sawyer to understand this. Cell phone data was used in the area. No one knew or saw Victor during the crime. First witness was daughter number 2. We know how that went. She started asking questions. She was one of the people to receive the last text from her mom. When she went missing, immediately, daughter number 2 was very concerned and got in touch with Richard. Richard called the cops. They went to the trail several times. She was outstanding. She was outstanding as a witness. And then they attempted to discredit her because her wake-up time was off after a year and a half. Oh, thanks, Cotton Candy. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Daughter number 2 and Rachel cleaned the house together that day. So they were together for a little bit. And then I made a note here. It was 609 days from trail to trial. Oh, that's so nice. Tell Tanya we said thank you. Please and thank you. I'm so glad. So then after daughter number 2, Richard Tobin came up. And he was great. They had been together about 5 months, 5 days prior to Rachel's untimely death. They made it Facebook official. They woke, they had breakfast, they hung out, they made plans to hang out. He went home and they met up during the day. They went out for a bit. They went to the gym together in Abingdon and they worked out. And then he went home, she went home. When she went home is when she then decided to go to the trail. Oh, Titanium sent you too? Oh my gracious. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming in. Thank you very much. Richard Tobin kept calling and it kept going to voicemail. When he realized that, lunch lady. Hey, you guys, thanks so much. You guys you better tell Tanya that we said thank you. Please. That's so awesome. I'm so thrilled that she did that. What an honor. How cool. So Richard kept calling and it kept going to voicemail. And then all of a sudden it stopped going to voicemail and it was just a weird tone. And it stopped. And every time he called, he got that weird tone. So he went to the trail, he saw her car, and I told you guys this. He said this and it kind of broke my heart, but I probably would think the same thing as well. His first thought when he saw her car at the trail was, God, I hope she's cheating on me. And I know that's a weird thing to think, but you don't want to think something actually happened. So your prayer is going to be, I hope it's bad, but not that bad, you know? So he starts going around to different bars in the area and he literally walks in and doesn't see her. So he testifies that he goes back to the house, they call the police, and the reports start all the things, right? At one point, Richard receives a Facebook message that says she's found. And he said, was she found alive? And they said no. And he freaked out. That was his word. He freaked out. When asked what that meant, he cried, he screamed, he freaked out. He gave everything that the police wanted whenever they wanted it. DNA, phones, clothes, whatever. He gave it all. No questions asked. Just take it. Just find my girlfriend, right? That was the thing. Just find her. They met on the trail. He saw her on the trail, and then they met at another place again, and they hit it off, and they were friends, and then they were more than friends, and they dated for 5 months. And what I understand is that, yes, Richard was the boyfriend. Yes. That she really, really, truly loved Richard and that he might have been the one. She was really head over heels. Tanya, thank you so much for sending people over. Thank you. She was in love with Richard and Richard was in love with her. And she told family that whoopsie. She told friends that she really loved him. So they went to the gym together, etc., etc. Then the next person to testify is daughter number 1. And they cleaned the house. Rachel had a house cleaning business. And sometimes daughter number 1 cleaned with her. They worked together. They made plans to go tanning, but they didn't go. Actually, LFT's not here, but daughter number 1 was the last person to receive a message from Rachel Morin. That is a weight I can't imagine having. That hurts my heart. So, Rachel, they were supposed to go to dinner and she said, I'm really tired. I don't really want to go. And Rachel said, that's fine. I'm tired too. No big deal. Then Deputy Carr, who is the deputy that took the, hi again, Chris. Deputy Carr is the one who took the missing persons. He came to the house. They pinged the phone. I'm skimming because we got so much to talk about. They pinged the phone. It was not successful. Rachel was entered in NCIC. Pick and info. I'll show you the pick that they used because we have that. I might even have the missing. Do I have it? I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. This is the picture that was used on her missing flyer. There you go. And the last message Rachel read was from daughter number 1. also happens to be Matt's daughter. So, yeah. So Detective Carr takes the missing person report, the photo of Rachel, and they call Sergeant Maddox at 3 a.m., who gets the case. They go to search the trail. His shift ended and additional units were called in. The body was discovered, and Deputy Carr was then off duty. Cross, nothing interesting there. Evan is the next one, who is on the witness stand. Evan is the person that actually found Rachel in the tunnel. He got a text. LFT, tell me when you're back, by the way. He got a text from his friend Cecilia that there was a missing person and they should go out looking. And he was like, okay, cool. So he goes over, they have breakfast. And the person that he's staying with is Alan, and Cece and Alan are siblings. They've known each other for like 8 or 9 years. They've been close friends. They go out searching. Okay, they get to the trailhead and they start searching. They head out to the trail. As they're going down the trail, Cece noticed the tunnels to the right. And they decide to go look there. So they kind of go off what Evan calls is a, oh, yes, please. Please clarify anything you want. Jump in anytime. Do you want to come up, Matt? I don't want to force you. I know you're tired, but you're welcome. If you want, if it's easier to speak it versus typing, you tell me what you want to do. I can send you the link if you want it. If you don't, that's cool too. Whatever you decide, you're always welcome. So I'm just going to talk until I see your answer. So they go down to the deer trail, as they call it. And hang on, you guys. I am looking for my response here. Okay. I'm on it. There you go. So for those who don't know, okay, awesome, LFT. Don't hurry. You're fine. You're totally fine. For those who don't know, Matt McMahon is the father of Rachel's oldest child. And he can tell you as much or as little as he wants. I'm not going to speak for him there. I will only tell you that he is the father of the oldest child. And we have known Matt now for about 1.5 years. We have been working with him behind the scenes since he messaged us, since we started working on Rachel's case. And it's now been, we now have a friendship. It's different. It's not, it's a friendship. We count on him. He counts on us. We support each other, and we're very lucky to have a good friendship. So I'm stalling until he comes up. So they go on the trail. They see this little deer path off to the right of the trail, and they start to go down. And we have pictures of this too. I'm waiting for LFT. And they go down, and there's some thorn bushes where Cece stops. They see the 2 tunnels. The tunnel on the left is slightly, oh, he is, Nicole, right? Yes. No, this is not the guy with the stepdaughter. Cece is the stepdaughter. to Johnny Blackhawk, who's not in here. The one that found her, yes, that's Cece. So they go down this stair path, and Cece stops at the thorn bush, but can see both tunnels. She can, the left one's kind of blocked a little bit. So Evan walks around the thorn bush and goes up and walks to the edge of the tunnel where he freezes because he sees Rachel. And the first time I heard this, he said he could see the damage to her head and that there was a lot of blood around her head and that he clearly saw her. And I didn't know how far in the tunnel she was at that time when I heard this. Yes, Princess Lena, we're so happy to have you. Thank you. Welcome to your new home, sister. Just so you know, Princess Lena, Wheel messaged us, and that's why we welcomed you to your new home. So he walks around, he sees Rachel, he freezes. Cece says, "Are you okay?" And he said, "We found her. She's deceased." And without hesitation, Cece picks up her phone and dials 911. They, after a little bit of a mix up with roads, they meet up. There he is. Hold on. Hello, sir.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was such a pain. Well, no, I set up like two-factor authentication and go through all that, and once we use Safari, so I'm sorry it took so long. It was just
No,
kind of a
that's
pain.
fine. That's
But
fine.
anyway, no, I was actually just speaking with Sergeant Maddox the other day, and he was talking about that night because I thanked him for his quick response because who knows if how long it would have taken to find Rachel. They already spoke about how they finished collecting evidence with just an hour to spare before the storm came in. So it really made a difference that they got on the case right at 3 a.m. But he was telling me that he typically doesn't check his phone at night. And the request came in through email, and he absolutely doesn't check his email at night. But for some reason, at 3 a.m., he checked his email, and that's when he called Detective Golden and called people in to start working on the case. I just thought it was just kind of, I don't know.
That is important, though. And it's ironic that that's the one time he decides to check.
Yeah, and I was like, who checks your freaking email at 3 a.m.? But it ended up being extremely important, just, I don't know.
It is extremely important. And God bless him because he is the one that got the ball rolling. And he sent Golden in, and Golden got the call at 3 a.m. and went to work, was in the office in Forest Hill at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
Sergeant Maddox called Detective Golden because Sergeant Maddox is Detective Golden's boss.
right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just hearing I just heard. I don't know. I just wanted to. I guess I just wanted to share. Um, I don't know. I just
I'm
feel
glad
like
you did.
everybody just. It's hard for me to articulate what I feel. I just feel like everybody that's been involved in this case has just stepped up completely and at the exact moment we needed them to step up. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I guess that's it.
Well, do you want to tell him what meeting Officer Delmont was like before I
Um,
before
sure.
I
I don't
crushed
even
her?
remember if I told you, and I don't think. Well, I wasn't even able to articulate to Officer Delmont about how impactful her involvement was. After she testified, I decided to leave the courtroom because I wanted to thank her. The reason I wanted to thank her is because it was a really long search for an unnamed suspect, and when we had a name, um, actually bringing somebody into custody, and she's the person who actually did that. So it was like she made that moment happen. And I know a lot of people made that moment happen, but she was the person that actually did it. So for me, it she had a really significant impact on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when I went up to thank her, I lost the ability to speak. I choked up so much that I couldn't even really get out anything. And she's such an incredible person. She was like, "Do you need a hug?" And she gave me this like really big hug. Um,
Oh, that's
and I
so
was just
special.
so overcome with emotions that I couldn't even say anything, any coherent thought. I basically just had to say, I just wanted to say thank you. And then I had to leave because I don't know. I was just so overcome with emotions that I was a mess.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Officer Delmont is, I'm going to describe her as maybe 5'4", maybe on a good day. Very well built, beautiful woman who is just a badass. Go watch the body cam videos because she takes no guff from Victor.
Yeah, that's not the
And
word I was going to use, but I was thinking she takes no, too.
I know
I
she
love
doesn't.
Yeah.
I love how
Like,
they
Love
no,
how
no,
she
intentionally
looks
that's
at
you.
him.
It's like she was not scared of Victor, and that probably unsettled Victor because he's probably used to being able to intimidate women, and that's one thing that I noticed in court is that he's scared of everybody except smaller women that he thinks he can potentially control, which is why
Mhm,
I love the fact that the judge is a woman who's going to
mhm.
be able to say you're going away for life without parole. I mean, I love the fact that a woman's going to be able to take that freedom from him and he's going to have to sit there and listen to it.
I love that Allison Healy's going to take that freedom from him too.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, Allison's amazing.
Isn't she?
Yeah.
I
No, she
really
really
have.
is. Well,
You know her better than I do. I've only seen her in the courtroom.
yeah.
You know her behind the scenes.
Well, yeah, I actually talk with her like quite a lot. One of the well, she's an amazing prosecutor, but I think what a lot of people don't realize is what makes her so great is she's so compassionate. She reaches out so much to make sure everybody knows what's going to happen, to get input with them, to make sure that they're comfortable with what's going to happen. She truly cares about the victims. And I think that's why she's so amazing. It's not just a job for her; it's her life. She truly loves this job. She goes home and watches true crime because she's so passionate about this whole field. So she's amazing. She it For people not in Maryland, they may not know that the state's attorney's an elected position, but she needs to win this election every single time because she is the perfect person for this job.
She really is. And what's interesting from a bystander point of view, and she did it today after you left, but she will go through whatever testimony she's working on. And when they're switching or when there's a break or whatever, she turns around and she checks with the family. Are you guys okay? That was
Yeah,
tough. Like she'll make a comment and check in with right down the line with each member of the family. You guys okay? That was tough. I know it was tough. Are you okay? Do you need a minute? And it's interesting to watch that interaction. I don't know that every prosecutor does that, um, which I think makes her really special.
yeah. And at the end of each day of court, she always comes out and talks to the people connected to Rachel, just to check in to see how you're doing. Do you have any questions about what happened? It's like she's just there for everybody, so she's amazing. But anyway, I don't want to hijack your show. I actually,
No,
for
actually,
those that you don't
actually,
know, I actually made um, a promise to LFT and to Tia. They didn't ask for this promise. I just offered. I was like, I'm not going to interrupt your show. I'm not going to send any back messages. I need to like be hands off. And here I am talking.
And we told
no,
him that
actually,
he could hijack and do whatever he needs. But Matt also knows that from day one, we said this was your space. And if you want to say something, you have the ability to do so. If you want something released, we'll do it. If you don't, we won't. We just wanted to make an area that was safe for him to be able to do what he needed to do in order to heal. So whatever that is, whether
and,
it's being up here or not, it doesn't, we're not, it's
and I
it's
think
not.
that,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and
sorry.
I appreciate. Sorry, yeah, you go ahead, LSD.
Oh no, I was like, I'm not sure if my mic is working. And then I was like, I'm probably on a delay. I'm so sorry. No, actually, I was just echoing, obviously, everything that Tia said. But actually, I'm glad you kind of came up right now because I think having you and Tia up here, and especially you just being able to kind of, we don't need all the ins and outs of details, but like, I just encourage you, if you wish, like Tia said, if there's anything that you wanted to clarify or share, please do, because I know it's been a long week, a very gratifying in a very bittersweet way kind of week, but a long one. So we definitely appreciate your voice. And if there's anything you want to share, I support and
Who knows?
condone it.
You can come up anytime. And just so anybody knows, like we aren't doing this for clicks and views. Matt has never been on our channel before. We've known him for a year and a
Oh,
half, worked with him. He's never been on our channel before.
Yeah,
wait.
Um,
Oh,
I
gosh,
never
you
thought about it,
haven't.
but you're actually right. I've only ever been in chat. I've never been
yeah,
on your channel.
no.
Huh.
So that's why it's, you have always had the power and the ability, and you still will always have that. As long as we're, here and supporting Rachel in whatever we can do. Um, I'm sad though. I will tell you, Matt, the only thing I missed today was you in court when they matched Victor, when she said he cannot be excluded, gave the number and said it was a match.
No, no, I hear
Gosh,
you. And for a brief moment, I was thinking about how I wanted to be there, especially also for to hear Allison say that the state rests. But then I quickly realized that that wasn't my priority at that
I
point.
know you had better
Um,
things to do.
yeah, because I was going to drive two of Rachel's kids up for a weekend visit, so it's like I needed to leave at 2 o'clock to go pick them up.
Hmm.
So it's like at the end of the day, what's more important, me sitting in there listening to information or bringing the kids up so that they can all be together and have a good weekend. So,
Well, I think you made the right choice for sure.
oh no, I absolutely did. Anytime you choose the kids, it's the right choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So they are going to be together?
Uh, yeah, there's going to be a birthday party tomorrow, and all of them are going to be together, and including yeah, I'm gonna not gonna say names, but including my granddaughter will be should be there too. So it'll be nice.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fun.
yay. I love that.
Yeah,
Well, send pictures. We want to see.
sure, absolutely.
That will be
Um,
Okay,
really nice.
so if you don't have
was there
anything, I'm gonna
any,
pop down and stop
I was about
hijacking.
to think, I was about to say, is there
All
anything that
right.
we have
Well,
tonight?
if there's anything else, Matt, just let us know.
Okay, thank you,
All
and
right.
thanks for
Thanks,
everybody that's in here too. I truly appreciate the support that everybody's given. Um, I don't know. There's so many people that have given support that's helped all of us survive. Because there are moments where you feel like you're just not going to make it. I mean, I can think of so many times where I truly thought I was losing my mind. Um,
Mhm.
and it's the people that prop you up that get you to where we are today, which is, kind of in a good place, but it's not really a good place. Um,
It's a
yeah.
weird place.
It's a
Yeah.
transition. I think I was thinking about, oh gosh, I thought about this earlier. Because what actually Tia was just describing, and I think Matt has echoed, at least in some of his like in our communications, is just like it's a hard feeling to describe. And then when Tia referenced like when the DNA stuff came out, that she just like all of a sudden it was just like she just like it was just tears, like just like a sense of relief to hear it out loud
Yeah.
in a
Yeah. I
courtroom.
get
And
that.
I said, I was like, it's almost like having a balloon. Like a balloon is a great thing, but if you have a balloon that's just like it's inflated, like within, I was like, it's like having a balloon in your stomach and it's inflated and it's just there. And you've been dealing with it and dealing with it. And then all of a sudden it's like someone pops it in a good way and you just go, it's just a release of everything and an acknowledgement and some sort of like a sense of like affirmative, like you're like I knew this, thank you, like I've
Yeah.
been like to hear it out loud in that setting and at that moment had to be um cathartic.
Oh, that's definitely
Go
an accurate word. And the thing is, too, is that happens at unexpected moments. At moments when you
Mhm.
think it would happen, it doesn't happen, and then something just what some people might consider insignificant happens, and then before you know it, you're choking up. Like for
Mhm.
me, the very first day of arguments, because the first day of the trial is technically the first day of jury selection, so I think it was like day three of the trial. Seeing the jury walk in for the first moment, I joked up and I was having a lot of difficulty just watching them walk in, and that's not something I would have expected. Um, you never know when it's gonna, the balloon's gonna
No.
pop.
But it's something like you need it though. Like it's you almost have to go through it because I was thinking about this earlier, and I know we always say it, especially when it comes to cases such as this and trials and whatnot. And it's almost like everyone's like the family needs closure and closure, or to come to peace or just to have answers. And now it's like that is true, but I don't think it's necessarily closure. I was
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
thinking about it today, and pardon, like I'm I'm
it's
giving a
not
very
closure.
basic
Mm-mm.
yeah, I'm giving a very basic example, and then you insert the situation. Like you'll see it in a minute. This is not to take away from the significance of a case like this, but it would be like if you're reading a book, and if it was my life or something, and it was like, okay, I dropped a Cheerio in the sand, and then and it stopped right there in the chapter. Like I can't go to the next chapter without having some resolution as to know how to go forward because you acclimate, like your life adjusts. You can't flip that page and move forward and adjust because your life, it's like a new way. You know what I mean? It's not closure. It's being able to
No,
flip the
I
page, be able to live like and move forward
No,
in a
I
new
think
kind
that's
of
a
way.
really good analogy because it does feel like your life stops, becomes something else, and then you're like, am I ever going to be able to get back to that other place? It's like, I mean,
Mhm.
that's one of the things I'm thinking right now is like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week, because it's like, that's something completely different. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to go back to where I was on August 5th. And I say August 5th because we didn't know anything until August 6th.
Mhm.
But it you adjust to it. It's like you need that. You need to be able to turn that page though. Like each step of this process is like a turning of a page, and you need that in order to adjust to the new normal. It just integrates into your life, like it becomes your new normal. But it's just something. It's
I
the
keep
process
thinking that the
itself.
end of the trial will be the time that the healing can then begin because I don't think any healing has happened. I think it's just time passed.
Well, some
Mhm.
of
That's
the
what I look.
healing has definitely happened when Victor was apprehended because that was a significant change for me. Um, I was, it took a little bit of time, but I really felt like a lot of the pressure was being taken off of me. That's the best
Mhm.
analogy I was able to come up with is, and I didn't even know the pressure was there until I felt the pressure come off. I mean, it really felt like
Mhm.
literal weight was being
Mhm.
removed
That
from
balloon
me.
got popped. That balloon
Yep.
Um,
got popped.
yeah,
You're
well,
like, I can breathe a
I
little
don't
bit.
think
Like I
balloon.
like, whew.
I no longer felt like I was being completely crushed all the time, but I didn't know I was being crushed until I was not being crushed anymore.
Exact. It's so I think it's so specific because I mean, we all know all of us have experienced loss, will experience difficult times, but sometimes it's magnified, as in Matt and or Rachel's case, and Matt being, a subject of that. Everyone that's impacted by it. It's just so, it's life altering, and I'm so proud to see the way that this has been handled in my opinion, for the most part, and the grace and the strength that people have shown. And I try to put myself in that situation because sometimes, like, I've been, it's kind of like if someone were to ask you, like, what's it like after something life changing happens? It's just like something life changing happened. Like, what do you mean? What is it like? It's now a part of my life. Like, it's now a part of my new normal. Like, this is something, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I know that, and I'm sorry, the Cheerio and the sand thing, I really was not trying
no, I get
to
it. And what
belittle
you
the
just said,
significance of anything. Yeah.
What you just said, I think, is spot on because for me, it is the new norm. I don't even know if I
Mhm.
remember who I was on August 5th anymore because of how powerfully this has consumed my life. And that is the word that I used, and I've used it with the other day. I mean, because that's what it does. It consumes your life. It eats it up. It's not there anymore. Um,
Mhm.
but anyway,
But I'm really proud of all y'all, and I am so impressed, especially since this trial has started, the way that everyone has presented and represented themselves and respected Rachel, especially,
yeah,
Vic, that Victor aside, he doesn't count, but everyone else
yeah. Fuck
is
Victor.
admirable. And
Yeah.
it's something that I hope if
Sorry
any of
for
us were
polluting
ever,
her.
Hell
no,
no.
yeah,
You're fine.
I don't know. I just am proud of y'all, and like it hits me the other day. I was talking to Tia, and it was, I think actually was that like Monday when all of a sudden I was emotional, like when you and we were just going over things, and I was like, remember how it was like for you that day in the courtroom where it kind of hit you, like you didn't realize it, and I was like, I think I'm looking at stuff and seeing stuff now that I'm realizing, like it just hit me, like it just made my eyes water, but in a good way, because it was like I needed to kind of see it and deal with it too, and to understand, like I've known this all along as someone on the outside, speaking about the case. But I had that moment where I just saw like an image or something, and it just like my eyes watered, and I almost felt silly because I was like, I'm not even there. like I'm, I'm not
But you
family.
don't
I'm
have
not
to be to
there.
have feelings
Yeah.
about what everyone's going through. I
Yes.
am sitting next to people watching them, and it's
Mhm.
really difficult. Just being a bystander sometimes is really difficult.
Okay,
Just being in there.
they have a name for that. It's empathy.
It is.
Mhm.
And that is something that Victor lacks.
He lacks a lot. Yeah, no, he. Um, I knew so much about this crime for a really long time, and I knew it was horrific, but I had no idea how horrific because there were definitely details I still didn't know, and I couldn't believe how bad it really was.
Yeah.
I feel that there really is. It would be tough to find somebody more evil on this planet than Victor. When you think about what he did in the short amount of time that he did,
Mhm.
and then you see that he just appears like he doesn't give a shit about anything.
No.
That's only an evil person that can do that. I don't know. It's
When he said he served God, I almost went over the table at him. I was like, oh, I don't think it's the same one, my friend. I do not think. And all I
right,
could think of was that song, was like,
right.
I know
It's
where you've
like
been.
um, so when you go back to like the LA video, a lot of people they didn't believe that the family in LA didn't have anything to do with this. 'Cause they're like, well, just look how he's walking out the door. It's all friendly. But that's the thing with Victor. He doesn't care
Mhm.
about anything. That the way he walked out that door is the same way he walks in the court. He doesn't care.
Yes.
He doesn't seem
I understand.
inconvenienced. He doesn't seem bothered. This is just him walking in the park. He doesn't seem to care. And I wish I had been there to see him slink down in the chair because I have not seen that for a single moment during this
Oh my
trial.
God. It was so fucking awesome. Because I have been, my biggest bitch all week is him. I call it Diddy bopping around the room. He's fixing his tie. He's tucking in his shirt. He's rubbing his hair. And he like bops over with a smile on his face. And everybody's like, well, it's not a smile. In fact,
It's not.
Donna's the one who tells me that it's not a smile. That's like a cultural thing. Look at his family. They do the same thing. But he
Well,
does have a smirk.
yeah, but his family didn't do what he did.
No.
Mm.
And
He
today, when they kept saying he could not be excluded, it just got a little, it was heavier. And I actually said something to Shannon. I went over to Shannon and I said, he's not as lively as he was. And she said, I think reality is setting in. And I said, that's interesting. If it didn't set in before now, he's really screwed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never going to
Good.
set in. But that
So
and both of y'all, I put something in the back chat if y'all want to see it. But and if y'all check that, I was going to say that makes so much more sense too. The way that Matt and Tia have described his persona and his demeanor in the courtroom up until I guess today-ish. Um, that it makes that LA video makes sense to me now because I was exactly what Matt said. Like when I first saw that video, I literally had always envisioned it as if it was kind of like back in the day. I don't know if you ever had a party or had someone over who wasn't supposed to be over, and it was like, oh my gosh, my parents are coming home. Like you got to go. Almost like it could be perceived like that because that was one of the impressions I had. But now it makes sense because it's just that like he doesn't give a shit.
no, not at all. No
He
fucks are
doesn't give
given.
a shit,
No.
and so now
He
it's
doesn't have the capability.
Yeah.
mhm.
a-
And
And
it makes
sometimes I lose
sense
track
now.
of what's public and what's not. But I believe most of this is not public. But to put things in perspective for people that saw that LA video, what happened was is he was attacking a little girl,
Hmm.
almost killed
Hmm.
her. She was unconscious when her older brother interrupted
Hmm.
him, who was choking her,
Hmm.
fought him off, and pushed him out the door. And that was his reaction. And people that second guess what the brother did, it's like, you know what? He was getting that guy away from his family and his little sister. But that's what just happened. And that's how Victor was acting when he walked out the door. That's an evil person.
Very.
Hmm.
Well,
And
I
that
mean,
now
the
makes
fact that
so
he was
much
doing
more
that to
sense
such
to
a young
me.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That makes sense to me now because I admit it, I was one because at that time we didn't know. And so when you're watching these videos and you are taking in what's publicly available and you're looking at it, the ease, like it wasn't like he ran out, like that's what, like and he was willing to leave. He didn't, well, apparently he did not, if he cared, he didn't show that he cared, that he left things behind. It was like, okay, bye. Like I'm
Well,
appalled.
he clearly doesn't
And
understand DNA because he didn't seem to care about all the stuff he left behind in Maryland or in
Mm-mm.
the tunnel,
Preach.
and that explains why he didn't seem to care that he left his hat in there. You know,
I
he
mean,
didn't realize that was the nail in his coffin. Ultimately, that hat was the nail in his coffin. No, I guess it wasn't because genetic genealogy still would have nabbed him.
that was
Yeah,
the
but that was a faster way to nab him.
yeah, that was a the springboard for
Well, genetic
what.
genealogy would have got him any even if he didn't attack the person in L.A. L.A. did give us that picture, but
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it was genetic genealogy. Without IgG, I have no doubt that he would not be caught, and he probably would be one of these people that would have 50, 60, 70, 80, who knows, you know,
I mean, look at how he
Yeah.
traveled and
kills before
how
he died.
and how he travels, and he goes from like something happens and then he moves, and then something happens and then he moves. I agree with that 100%. I have no doubt that had they not arrested, had gotten him into custody and in
Yeah,
Tulsa, we would be waiting for the next one, and no
yeah.
one wanted that. No
I
one.
think it was Dr. Bricado who told me this. I think it was. It's been a while since I've spoken with him, but he was telling me that if you're going to catch a serial killer, you're either going to catch him right at the beginning of his career or at the end. Because in the beginning of his career, he's either going to make a mistake that is going to get him caught, or he's going to learn
Mhm.
from his mistakes and be able to avoid capture. But then near the end, he's going to get cocky and make a mistake. So I feel like this was a small window to where Victor was able to be captured. Otherwise, it would have been a lifetime of killing, a
Mhm.
lifetime of doing what he did to Rachel, maybe even
Yeah,
worse. Who
yeah,
knows how he would have escalated things,
I
if you can even
agree.
escalate it past what he did.
Well, I
mean, I
mean, I
just
hate to think what escalation would look like with him. I'm just playing the LA video so people have a reminder of what. By the way, also, I want to tell you guys
it,
that a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, you got to check the barber shops in the area for that special haircut." Uh,
Oh,
Victor
that
gave
drove
that
me
to
up the
himself.
wall.
That he gave that to himself. Just so y'all know, he gave that to himself.
You talking about the haircut?
Yeah,
Oh, how do you know that?
because they said he cuts his own hair.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Maybe I wasn't there when that happened.
Oh,
all I
you
know
might
is
not
that
have
I
been
wrote.
actually. Now that I think about it, you might not have been there that day.
Oh, well, since you're
But yeah,
playing that video,
uh-huh.
one thing that struck me as uh, I can't even think of the word. It blew me out of the water in the motion hearing that he walked into the courtroom with that same exact haircut from that LA
Haircut.
video. I could not believe he had the audacity to do that. You
I
would
know.
think he would want to distance himself from any of these violent crimes, but he walked in there with that.
Yeah, that's what he had.
It
Now
was
it's not like
identical to
that
that.
today. It's a little more grown out. But yeah, when we went for the motions hearing, that's exactly what it looked like. And I think the attorneys probably had him do a little something different this time. Um,
Well, you said that first day, right? That he one of the first things that you said. Well, obviously, defense would do this, but like he was more like it was like he had a haircut, more clean cut or quote unquote, I guess, presentable, if you will, for court. Like you did say that,
yeah,
like you could tell.
they
Hmm.
shined him up. But you know what?
They shined
You
him up.
can you can
Yeah, he was a
take
shiny
a
turd.
I was just gonna you just took the words out of my mouth. It's still shit. No matter how you shine it, it's still shit.
Yep.
It smells, it's gross, and it's still shit. And that's Victor.
Yeah, except shit is miles above him.
Agreed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
he
wild.
is
And it's crazy to
Monday
see
should be
that
an
video
interesting
again
day.
because it does not feel like eons ago in a very in a not disrespectful way, but like God, like that just felt like I feel like we watched that forever ago. It seems like yesterday, but it feels like forever ago at the same time. It's just I think Tia and I talked about that
No,
a couple nights
you
ago. Just
hit the
being
nail
like,
on the head with that too, because I feel the same way. It's like I think I was speaking with Rebecca Pryor the other day. I talked with a lot of the reporters, but not actually giving interviews because I've actually kind of become friends with a lot of them. Um, and she was asking about like, does it feel like a long time ago or just yesterday? And
mm-hmm,
it's kind of like both because like your perception of time becomes completely distorted because it's both.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense. It feels like
It doesn't.
yesterday and a lifetime ago at the same time.
Quite frankly, when I
Angela, no, it's not true.
I'm
Neither
sorry,
one of
what?
those statements. She said, "Is it true he was working at Annie's playground prior and watching her?" No, neither is true.
For let me give a little. I'm not going to give more information, but for clarity about the information that I have, um, I feel safe in saying that if you take out law enforcement and the state's attorney's office, I probably received more information, more updates than anybody else because my daughter's she's the primary contact, so she's next of kin, and this was too much for her to handle, so she asked for all updates to be routed through me. Everything that I have heard, there is absolutely nothing to indicate that Rachel was followed or Rachel was targeted or that Victor worked with anybody else. It absolutely looks like she just happened to run through the web that he set up. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but that I don't know. I almost feel bad thinking that it's unfortunate that it was Rachel because that means it would be somebody else, and nobody deserves to go through that. But that's what happened. I mean, this isn't some movie where there's a twist at the end. It's like that's just what happened. He was a guy who he found a great attack location. He set up a trap and he waited for a lone woman to come through it, and she just happened to be the one.
Yeah.
that's yeah. He scoped an opportunity. I don't. well, I don't know. Y'all are the ones in court
He
more clear than
planned the
not. But I was like,
location. He planned the location,
mhm,
not the target.
Right.
and it would just happen that it was just someone in the wrong place at the wrong. It could. I mean, hell, any of us could have been on that trail that in that moment at that time, and we could have. I mean, you're shooting fish in a bucket.
Right. And well, and the thing is too, things that I've heard from, I guess they could be called witnesses, but they never actually gave the information to the sheriff's department. Sounds like he was down there for, on that trail for quite a long time, and it fits into the timeline that, and I was learning in the trial for the time period that he had been in Bel Air. It fits right into that. So it's not like he just started going to those woods like the day before Rachel went for that run. It's like he stalked it out
Hmm.
for a considerable amount of time, which emphasizes that it was the location and he wasn't following Rachel. Because I've heard people say, "Oh, they bumped in somewhere, they bumped into each other somewhere or somehow, and she turned him down and he was pissed and he was following her." There's nothing to support any of
No.
that. There's so much to support that. It was just this location because it
Hmm.
was the perfect attack location.
I mean, apparently, like I seeing it all now and hearing what's come to light in court, and then taking, like, in a way, I feel like I've walked the trail. Oh God, not trail, walked that trail. Even though y'all might not know it at times, because Tia's like you're on the opposite side of the map. But in my head, it's like I see it right in my head, but what I'm saying is wrong. And y'all, it happens sometimes, and that's when you just have to knock me and be like, reword that, rewind. But like I feel like I've been there so much that
I get it.
I can just see this all coming out, and it just, ugh.
It's weird
I don't know.
seeing
I
it
think I'm having that
on.
second wave of everything that y'all are experiencing. I think I'm getting that next wave of it. Like I get the delayed wave of it. Like it sinks in with me like 24 hours later, the next day. What y'all experience, I get it the next day.
It's weird to see the pictures when they show them in court because
Hmm.
not only have I been there with Matt, I've been there, by myself, I filmed, whatever, but you recognize down trees, you recognize the corner, and somebody's looking at it and they're like, where is that? And I'm like, oh my God, you want to tell them? And it's like, that's not
Oh
your
yeah.
business. Bud.
Oh yeah. No, I absolutely know. It's when you start at the trailhead, it's 11-minute walk, walking
Yep.
with purpose to the attack location. When you get to the bridge, it's a 1-minute walk to the attack location. It's like you learn that damn trail.
Yeah.
The path up to the Lyriodendron. I think it's a little under 3 minutes walking down, and it's about 3.5 minutes walking up because you're going uphill. It's like
Hmm.
you learn the location.
So Tia, Tia and Matt, were y'all in there? So when they were when I'm sorry, is it Mr. Stacy? Kyle. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his first
Kyle
name off the top
Stacy.
of
Michaels.
my
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
head.
Kyle's. Oh yeah, yeah. No, yeah. He's such a great guy. I mean, it's
He
like
He,
was
he seems like a
he
big teddy
stayed
bear.
all day. He stayed all day
Yeah.
and
but
he sat through everything and he was a mess.
Yes.
And he carries that with him. It's all over him.
Yeah. I
Regret
I
um
is
tried to make
all
an
over
impact
him.
on how he feels so that he can understand that he's actually one of the good guys, and
mhm,
that you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and our culture encourages us not to talk with other people. Uh, like
mhm,
if you take out this situation and I'm a guy walking on a trail and I just walk up to some woman and start saying something to her, I'm going to look like
mhm,
the weird guy that's maybe trying something kind of funny because that's what our society tells us. So it's like our society trained him not to say anything to Rachel.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like, and he didn't know something was going to happen. I mean, people, I think, are also trained to some respect to ignore your gut feeling. So even though he had a gut feeling, it's like, well, clearly he was trained to ignore it because that's what he ended up deciding to do. He did the best that he knew how to do with the information that he had. Um, You never know what's going to happen, and you can't play the stupid game, the what if game. What if I did this? What would have happened? Because you just don't know.
No,
And I
you
think
don't.
that's a hard thing to wrestle with too. But I actually had a question. Is it okay if I bring up the two images of when Mr. Stacy did the walkthrough with law enforcement? I just have one question to ask you both, and maybe it would help the chat as well. I don't know if y'all saw those, or Matt, or
Oh,
did you see those?
yeah, I was there for the entire testimony with Kyle Stacy.
I just was wondering if I brought Tia and Matt those two pictures up, if y'all could explain exactly kind of what we're looking at, so that the viewers would understand of the what
I'm sure we can try. I
he's
mean,
pointing
I
out.
think it would be easier to understand if you actually just put the picture up.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, here is, let me get this first one, and hold on, I'm going to make sure before I do it that I know which direction to hit the arrow so that the picture don't show something I'm not supposed to. Share screen. I'm so sorry. Here we go. And I'll zoom in.
What's your question?
So this picture is like the vantage point of the witness and the investigator. What are they looking at right here?
Where Victor was standing?
Okay.
This is
Okay.
from Victor's vantage
Right,
point back to Kyle.
right. I believe
Okay.
that's the body cam of I don't know, a deputy or police officer, probably a deputy, since the
Mhm.
sheriff's department, standing likely where Kyle was saying that's where the guy was.
Got it. Okay. I just wanted people. I'd gotten a question and I'd seen something on Twitter asking, and I know that. And then this would be
Where he
for Tia
passed
and
her.
Matt.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a second. Let me blow that up.
That's the
I'm doing this on my
switchback
phone, so I
where,
don't have a really big picture.
yeah, that's the
Oh, sorry.
switchback where he passed her.
Yeah, that's right before the switchback. There's a small
Yeah.
overlook right there. It looks like he passed. If I remember correctly, he passed Rachel a little bit further down the trail from that, right when it for locals, right when it first turns,
Okay. Okay. Thank you all so
which
much.
is
I'd seen.
yeah. The from what I had, 'cause I knew that I didn't know his name was Kyle, but I knew a man and a woman had seen a suspicious suspect, wearing a hoodie in the woods close to the attack location for probably over a year. I always thought that it was closer to the attack location, but it was really actually about halfway between the attack location and the bridge. So it was a much shorter distance than I had thought.
Okay. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. I just had seen that and I figured that was something maybe we could clarify with you both up here.
Yeah. Well, any
Cool.
other questions?
Anything else,
Well,
Alex?
you've probably already asked every question you have of me.
I mean, I'm sure I've asked y'all. I feel like I've asked 1,000 questions to both of y'all.
Well, no, I just basically meant over the entire time we've known each other. There's probably
Yeah, I was gonna
not
say.
very many
You
questions
asked
you
a
have
lot of
for me.
questions.
Um, hold on. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm double checking. Give me a second. I will tell y'all one thing. I'm impressed with um, some of this state's evidence and exhibits are very, without being too, overly gory or anything like that. What we've been able to see as a public, not the people in the courthouse, they've had to witness something very different. But what I've seen being posted on, publicly and within the media, God, it's so compelling. And it helps. It really does help kind of paint. It's helped me. Like I said, I've been able to watch Tia and Matt on the phone and on FaceTime or whatever we're doing, walk this trail, and I get to see all these things and I get it. I know where we park the car, I know where we go in. And then to have these images that are available to us, like it paints a picture and really, God, it tells a damn story. And I hate the story, but I'm glad the story is having an impact that's going to be positive in the long run.
Yeah,
And that's just
it's hard to focus on the positive, but the positive
Mhm.
is that Victor can't do this to anybody else.
Mhm.
definitely.
Because it's hard to paint any, for me, it's hard to paint any positive about any of this with Rachel, because at the end of the day, none of this changes what happened to Rachel.
Oh, congratulations. Just so y'all know, I'm sick and I look like crap. So y'all got to see it. I accidentally clicked the camera instead of my mute. I don't care.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
did you want to
I
talk
missed it.
about did you want to talk about the shed, LFT? You said that?
Oh, I was in the back. I don't know if Matt saw it because when I saw
I
that
didn't
this
see it.
morning, and
I know you said something about back chat. Did you sure you said it to me, to
it's
both
like
of us?
on our
Because the last thing I see is the link.
if I did it, back chat is on. Never mind. We'll tell you later, Matt.
Ah, right.
But
Never mind. I was looking. Okay.
you see it how it says
It's been a
comments
long
and
time
like
since I've been on
Canada,
Streamlabs or what
yeah,
it's
or
StreamYard or
Yeah.
whatever it
whatever
is.
world. Oh my gosh.
You
By
want
the
to
way, we're gonna have to edit that little portion out where I accidentally just showed my face. I'm so sorry.
do you want to show that shed
Um,
stuff though?
yeah, I was about to say, Matt, is that okay to share? Like, would you like
Well,
to
we
I
give?
don't
I
care.
think
shared
that's so
already.
interesting.
I hope it's
All right,
okay.
I hope it's
I mean, I
okay.
don't care. I
But
mean, it's just a theory I have that seems to really make sense.
it
It does
it
make
it
sense.
really does. And when we saw it, Tia called me first thing after you sent it. And hold on, give me one. If y'all will just play elevator music or chat for 1 second, I want to make sure I save it without showing something I'm.
What's your question, Nicole? Ask us or ask Matt. I don't know. I don't know I don't know who the question's for. Um, it has been an interesting week, and I watched some really great people do some really cool things this week, and I learned um, so much, and so much that we can carry on to the next case. But the next case will not involve a family. The next case, this is the last case that I will that I this is my heart case. This one, Rachel will always be talked about. Rachel will always be remembered on Decipher, and Matt and some of the incredible people that I've met will always be welcome. But I will never get close to a family again. It's it has been rewarding and terrifying. Absolutely both things. Is there a memorial on the trail? Um,
Rebecca Pryor told me when she came before the trial started, she called and she said, "Hey, I'm going to be doing I'm going to do something to bring people up to speed with the trial before it starts." And she said something about a memorial on the trail, and I was like, I haven't heard anything about a memorial on the trail. My daughter hasn't heard anything about a memorial on the trail. Doesn't mean there's not one there, but I know there's not one at the trailhead, and it's been a long time since I went down the trail itself. And I was
mhm.
actually just explaining this to somebody earlier today. It's actually kind of weird. I can go down the trail. I can go down that 150-foot path. I can go into the tunnel, but only with somebody, if somebody else is there with me. And if somebody else is there with me, it doesn't phase me at all. But if I'm by myself, I can't get any closer than like 50 to 75 feet of that tunnel. So it's weird that one person just makes it so where it doesn't phase me, but I don't
Yeah,
know. It's weird.
it
So
is,
I
but at
have
the
not been
same
down there
time,
in a long time.
after this week, it has never ever bothered me to go down there. I've gone
Right.
down there at 8:30 at night. I've gone down, I filmed, I've driven on the path. Don't tell anybody, but I've driven on the path.
Well,
It does not
you did
bother
that
me.
on live. I mean,
I
you're saying
know,
don't tell anybody.
but
Yeah, way to bring
now
it
that
up, Matt.
I have seen the things that I've seen has changed it for me, and it's different now. It's very different. Did they have evidence on the shovel linked to him as well? Actually, I
Well,
can,
yeah, well, that would be a question for you because they're for anything that they're actually talking about in the trial, that's not something that I would talk about unless it was information that actually came out in the trial.
they
Okay.
did test it. They tested the handle and the orange portion of it, but I don't remember the answer and I have it in my notes. You guys keep talking. I'll look. I'm going to
If
mute.
if they gave the answer, I had been told that there was no DNA on it, but you should double check your notes. I
Yeah.
wasn't there to hear it in court, but that's what I was told.
It's just
Um,
so, I just, sorry, Matt, I'm trying to zoom it in for you too so you can see it.
No, no, I could see it.
Okay. Um, and don't worry, I know which way to do my arrows, so we'll go. It's only the images that you shared with us. But I, I have to admit, whether or not they, and if the DNA, I agree with the notion that, like, I'm sorry, in the middle of August, if I'm wearing a hoodie and sunglasses, walking through a small town, randomly carrying a shovel, I don't think someone's going to do that. It's just going to be like,
Yeah,
unless I'm working on like a construction site or like, doing road work or something where it's like they have their tools with them, they're doing this, but like the randomness of the shovel itself and then the proximity of this shed, I do think is very intriguing just for, I don't know, trying to piece it all together. I don't think, in like Matt and them said, I don't know if we'll ever have an answer to this aspect of it, but I think what Matt came across is very interesting. And I would
I
like to
mean,
give it a
I can.
voice.
Okay, I mean, I can speak to this real quick. I do want to. I saw
Mhm.
Danielle said something, and it reminded me that I wanted to get back to the point that I was trying to make about me not being able to go down there. So I had heard that there was a memorial. I have not gone down there to see if there actually was because I don't want to go on the trail like
Mhm.
solo. It's I don't know. But anyway, with this last year, I was spending a lot of time walking through the woods, just looking because you never know what you're going to find until you find it. Um, and I did find a lot of, not a lot, there were like three different trails in the woods off the main Mon Pod trail that you don't really see when you're on the Mon Pod trail. But then when you're actually on it, you're like, oh, yeah, this is a trail. Um, Almost kind of like that 150-foot trail, but a little bit less. You can so easily walk past it. So I was walking through the woods, exploring those trails, and there is this one trail that it starts pretty close to where the attack location is, a little bit past it, as if you were coming from the trailhead, and it goes up to the
Mhm.
left. When I was there last time, there was actually an orange marker on one of the trees. I don't know if it's still there, but that would be the trail that I went up.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I was following it up just to see where it goes because that's one of the things I was doing. I was mapping out where the trails went and maybe it was going to lead me somewhere interesting, somewhere useful. And as I was going up this one trail, I saw this up to the left. It was off the trail, so I walked up there to see what it was. And I don't know if you want to go to the next picture that shows a little bit more about what it was. Maybe the
I think,
back picture.
yeah, hold on one second. I was about to say it's going to go to the map because I accidentally saved them wrong. So is this the one,
Oh,
Matt? The one?
you can go to the map too, but uh, no, the back picture. Because I want to, I mean, because that's the first thing that I saw. Right. And as soon as I saw that, I felt like I had something significant. The reason for that, and I've never received any confirmation that it is anything significant, but I saw the graffiti and there's a lot of
Mhm.
graffiti in the tunnel. So I felt like there was a connection between these two places. Um, so I then walked around to the front. And if you want to go to the front picture,
Oh, dang it, Tack.
okay, I saw two doors. The handles were locked. But if you know about door sheds, you actually kind of have to like latch them into like the floor and the top. Otherwise, you can just pull them open. Well, they weren't latched,
Mhm.
so even though they're locked, you could just pull it open, and you can see all kinds of gardening tools in there. When I found this
Mhm.
last year, I thought, oh, maybe whoever attacked Rachel, maybe they were staying in the shed, maybe they hid out in the shed. I don't know. But then when I heard about the shovel, I thought maybe he took the
Mhm.
shovel from here because that's a gardening shovel, for digging in the ground. It's not for shoveling asphalt. That's like
Mhm.
a shovel with a flat front. So that shovel that was introduced into evidence would be perfectly at home in that shed. And if you want to go to the map,
Yes.
that might tie it in a little
Good.
bit more.
And then I think, hold on, sorry. Matt sent us two pictures. Can we start with this one, Matt? Is this a good one?
Uh, yeah. Let's see. So you can see the Ma and Pa trail on the left. And if you want to point to where the attack location is, because it's after the S curve and you have the little bit of that's the S curve, and you keep going and you have that next corner. That corner is the attack location. So if you go up to that red dot, that's really not that far. That's probably not even an eighth of a mile. I mean, it's in the hundreds of feet probably. And it has that orange trail that like leads right up to it. And if you take a
Mm-hmm.
look, I don't, it's not on this map, but where Victor was staying is a little bit more than a half a mile from starting from the attack location to his house. And half of that distance is a neighborhood that's pretty well populated with plenty of webcams. And I just could not see Victor or whoever the alleged person who did it was carrying a
Mm-hmm.
shovel through that neighborhood. And I also felt like it didn't seem reasonable that if it was Victor, that he would have necessarily had the shovel because at Barrett's on the Pike, he was a dishwasher. Popeyes, I guess he was flipping burgers, So it's like he wasn't doing landscaping as far as I've heard. Um,
I've only heard
so I
installing
think
what
the
tabletops
most
and
the thing that makes sense to me is he walked there, he found that shovel, maybe even way before he ever did the
mhm,
attack. He knew that was there. He just grabbed the shovel and went down there with it.
mhm.
I mean, it
And
just makes so much sense to me.
to give y'all an idea of what Matt's saying too, like the distance. I know on a map like this, it kind of looks like it's far, but I don't know if y'all have seen Tia's footage too of walking the trail like up here. This is the William Street entrance. I'm not being incorrect, right? Like up in
No, you're
here,
correct.
it's cut off. But when Tia walks it, and she's walked it, and she gets when she parks here at this trailhead where my it's back here, but you can see what I'm saying. When she parks there and walks all the way to like where to the S, I'm just gonna say by the time she walks to the S, it looks like it's so much farther than it is on the map. But when she does it with me on the phone, like she's like, okay, we're walking. I think what Tia we talk like what 2 minutes or so, and then or I mean a handful of minutes, and then you're there, just walking, like not
Yeah,
even
it's
jogging.
not 2 minutes. To the
I
attack
mean it's
location, it's 11 minutes.
It's
To the
11 minutes
bridge, it's 10
walking.
minutes. But if you go from the
mm,
Leary Dendron parking lot, there's a trail that goes straight
mhm,
down to that S turn. That's a 3 minute walk down. So
Mhm.
it's like that shed to the attack location is maybe a 2 to 2.5 minute walk down, the shed
right.
to the attack location.
So it's that my whole point. Yeah. So it just I guess it's just it looks so much further on a map when I see it like this, but then when I hear you all talk about it and then watch like Tia do it, it's I mean it's a distance, but it's not like it kind of looks on the map
Yeah.
in my opinion. But I haven't had the privilege of walking it yet. I
Yet.
will yet.
I have an answer on the shovel. My notes state that the second report on 928, this was Cross of Tiffany Keener today. The second report on 92823 tested 3 samples from the spade tip shovel. Blood swabs were taken from the handle, the black handle, and the tip was not tested. No human DNA, no human DNA. And the handle and the tip, well, like I said, the tip was not tested, which I thought was kind of bizarre. But then she goes on to explain that the weather contributed to the loss of DNA. Heat, it could have been wiped off, humidity, exposure to air, and you can't tell how the DNA was not there. If it wasn't collected right away, it was left out for a week. DNA was, it
Does
wasn't
that make
found
sense
on
to
there.
you though? But wouldn't that
And
make sense to both of y'all with the rain and stuff when you see that
right, there
picture
were
of it? And
two heavy
Really
thunderstorms,
hard storms. Yeah.
two of them.
may I
You know,
show the
between
picture of the shovel in the woods while y'all are talking so
Yeah.
they
Go
can?
ahead. Yeah, so it's not a surprise. I just wanted to see what what
I
my
just
notes were saying. I knew that DNA wasn't found, but I knew there was something else about it, and it was because weather contributed to the loss of DNA, and they weren't sure if it was wiped off due to the lack of DNA. Again, we're talking about the lack of something, um, and you can't explain the lack of DNA. You can only explain when you have DNA.
and it's so this because they came across this on the 14th, right? When
Yeah,
or maybe I don't even have my notes open, so I just really pulled that
Underhill.
off the back of my head.
that
But
sounds about right.
that
Underhill.
that actually makes sense though when you think about it. I wouldn't maybe to a degree be that surprised because it's out. I mean, this doesn't look like it's covered by, I don't know, the tree lining around like what's above this shovel, but it seems even with the rain and stuff, like you're risking the potential of losing evidence in that kind of open area, not in a tunnel, not, you know what I mean? And then the
Oh, it
rain
was in an
and the
open area
time.
too. The pictures are very open around that area. Not a lot of
Yeah.
trees. I mean,
So,
there's
okay.
trees
So
around it, but not directly where that was found.
above,
It was in an open.
okay. Oh, thank you. That helps so much because that's kind of what I was thinking. Because when I saw this, and then when we were thinking about the weather and whatnot, and if this had been sitting there that whole time,
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe you couldn't get it, but why the hell is it sitting there? Like, I mean, I don't know. And I just think it's very intriguing. And Matt, I'm so glad that, well, you and Tia walked and did a lot of searching throughout the last year or so. But
Well, this shovel actually reminds me of something interesting that Scott Duffy told me when he came down and walked the trail. He told me
mhm,
about an investigation when they were looking for a murder weapon, and I think it was actually a shovel. And he said what they did is they took a shovel and they threw it into the woods to see how far that they could throw it, and then they searched that distance, away from the path that they were on for what they were looking for. They used that as a gauge to see what the search area should be, and here's a shovel 10 yards off the path.
Yeah.
mhm,
It's like
That's crazy.
the FBI agents, they know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, they do.
true. Um, so yeah,
That's really
so I had
crazy.
only seen the ones the other day that I guess like in court, like where it was like with the measuring tape and stuff, and then this one came out, and I was like, I'll be danged. Like, okay,
Yeah.
but that makes
For the people that don't know who Scott Duffy is, he's a retired supervisory special agent with the FBI that worked homicide cases.
He's just a little bit of special.
Yeah,
Um,
he's such an empathetic guy. I mean, when he met us at the trailhead, the first thing he did was each individual person he would walk over. He's like, "Can I hug you?" It's like
mhm.
he came with love and then knowledge.
yeah.
That makes
And then you
sense.
have Doug.
Yeah,
Oh,
Doug's amazing. I mean, driving down from Canada two separate times,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
walking in water to go through the back of that tunnel, getting his feet wet in like November.
I was gonna say it wasn't warm.
No, 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 it was cold. I didn't walk through the water because I was like, it's
Freaking
well,
cold.
well,
it's
I
cold.
didn't buy into the theory that the suspect fled through the back of the tunnel. So I was like, yeah, I think this is a waste of time. I'm not going to walk around with soaking cold feet in this cold day. Um, and sure enough, the back of the tunnel was not an escape
No.
route, despite
Mhm.
the fact that some people were quite adamant that it was.
God,
That went
12
Again,
people,
against
meaning
kind of
one person.
everything I believed in. I just couldn't make that make sense in my head. And I walked that trail so many times, and I walked it just, if you're gonna get away, going towards Leary-Dendron up that trail just seems like such a straight shot and such a smart thing to do. You
Well, yeah,
know?
man. I think it was actually Scott
Mhm.
Duffy and probably separately Doug McGregor. Both of them told me that
Mhm.
when you commit a crime like this, you look for the easiest, quickest way out. And the back of the
Yeah,
tunnel is not easy. It's not quick.
Mm-mm.
I
No,
think being a
and
tested mess never felt that.
And
so I was
what we found out was that was true because he went up that apparently that gravel path, and it's like that was actually kind of stupid too, which also fits into the whole thing about how criminals are stupid. That's why they get caught. Um, yeah, he took the easy path out, going straight home.
yeah,
Hmm.
Well, I'm
Which,
assuming he went straight home. I mean, that's the direction he was going.
yeah. Matt and I last April handed out flyers in that neighborhood. It was a gorgeous day.
It was a hot
It was like
day.
it was like a Sunday. It was hot, but it was really pretty. And we wandered around and pretty much hit every door that was available, even some that weren't.
Not every door.
And we marked who had ring. I mean, we had so much information that day, but we sat down, after walking a gazillion miles and knocked on doors and talked to people and everything. We sat down at this park and we were, having just a drink of water, kind of catching up, trying to think of where next to go and what to do. Da, 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 da. And when I got the address of where Victor was staying, I messaged Matt last night and I said, the crazy thing is, on the bench that we were sitting at, we were facing the back of the house. We were 457 feet away
Yeah,
from where
that
Victor was
house
staying.
touches the park.
It touches the park. And I told my husband this, and my husband said, you're lucky, because if you would have knocked on that door,
Well,
you
he was already
don't
gone
know. No,
because he left in
April?
December of
uh,
2023, and this was spring of
April.
2024.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. No,
no, wait, hold on,
no,
hold
he
on. I
was
got.
here.
I'm
He
about to
didn't leave
slow.
until
Wait, I'm about to slow
May.
both y'all's minds. I think I have the notes from when y'all were doing stuff, and I think I have something that. Hold on. To the left, to the left. Hold on.
But while LSD is looking that up, I love your new name. Um,
Let's see.
I do remember that day. It was hot, and me and Tia sat in that park. And if I remember correctly, we ended up. I think we called it a day at that park. I could be wrong.
We
Um,
went to a couple more, but then it was like we were walking towards the car.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we were. I don't know. It's like so freaking close.
Yeah.
No, no, literally, they're calling me, and I'm getting like they're. I have. Y'all ever watch what is it like CSI when what's her name sitting at the computer desk with her pigtails that I don't have, and
Oh,
I look like shit, and I'm sick,
It's like
so and in
Bully
a hat,
Parade
but
or something like that, or
yeah,
that's
whatever. Like
Penelope. And that
yeah,
is, yeah, that's not CSI.
what is that?
NCIS.
Criminal Minds,
No.
Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, different
Right?
person. Okay.
Whatever it is. That's kind of what it was like. Like I was getting updates and they're like, we're here. All right. And she is like, check this address and not at all looking into, that invasive way, but like they were dropping flyers off and asking, just sharing, spreading awareness. Please let us know if you have seen anyone. We're looking, Rachel, whatever. They did what they needed to do, but I was getting lists and son of a gun, I have $10 says it's in that other folder that's over by the desk and I'm at the dining room table. But I do think y'all said something where I put it on one of my private, like little Google Drive things when I was just mapping stuff out, doing my own little work while y'all are away. Um, but I think y'all were very close to,
No, we absolutely
to
were.
yeah,
But I
y'all
did
were
see a
like,
question come
I'm
up.
telling you.
It's that is the same Scott Duffy that's on Surviving the Survivor.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's been wonderful too.
That's where I met him.
Um,
Yes.
That's where
Willow's
I met Doug
Trails,
McGregor too, and Tim
Trials and True
Papa.
Crime. Um,
Really?
just out of curiosity, has Victor's family said anything about him? Boy, have they. Um, they were witnesses for the state just yesterday. Yeah, they had a lot to say.
Um,
Not much of
and
it
I thought
good.
that was very interesting. And I'm okay, y'all. I don't want to get up and disturb and make a ton of noise. I do have it, and once I find it, we'll just see it. I will follow up, and
It
Matt
would
will
have
probably be
been
in chat.
inappropriate for us to attempt to have any communication with his family before the trial.
Yeah, you would have had no idea if you had knocked on their door though at that time, and like, or even left a flyer at a house or at a residence. You know what I mean? Like if you had just stuck things in the mailbox, or you know what I mean?
Well,
It's like when people
you don't know what's going to
pepper.
happen because while canvassing, there were three different group Hispanic homes that people in the neighborhood alerted me to. They were like, that one or whatever. And it's like, the sheriff's department, they went and checked all of them out. Who knows if we knocked on that door? Maybe the neighbor is going to be like, yeah, check this one. And
Mhm.
don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not anti-Hispanic. It's just that that's who we were looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the way that Victor was living in a he was actually sharing a bedroom in a large home with another man who said he had bad habits. I don't know what that means, but all I know is I'm going to remind people that there were 3 DNA hits on that toothbrush.
That's so.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
And the
Tia lost.
hair.
Tia tomorrow lose talking. Well, actually, well, Victor can lose them for the rest of his life for all I care. But Tia and I both lose like talking privileges for like 3 minutes because we both, when she told me, Matt, about all that, we like grossed one another out, and I was just like, oh my god. I just don't think like even us talking about it, we were both so grossed out. Like we were like, why are we even?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was so great. When she said there were 3 uh don't like donors, whatever. I don't know what she called them. I can't remember. But
that
I
makes it
was
sound
like,
more gross.
and the hair. Excuse me. No, no. If I had to hear it, y'all
And
all
the
have to
hair.
too. And there's a hair, and this is in a toothbrush, not multiple ones. A
You know what the
toothbrush.
significance of the toothbrush is, though? It was
Maybe it's
pink
one
and green.
toothbrush
It
per
was pink
room,
and
no matter how many
green.
people are in the room.
Maybe.
No,
It
I
was
went
pink
with
and
it was
green,
pink and
though. I
green.
like that.
Matt, I thought that was the most poetic until I'd heard about the hair and the 3 contributors stuff because I literally wrote pink and green in parentheses in my notes, and the fact that it was a pink toothbrush with green bristles, I was like, "Yep, I bet it was. I bet it was." And I meant that in a empowering way of like,
He's
yeah,
gross.
how
He's
gross.
a
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up, but
Yeah, the toothbrush
that's
thing
dirty.
really got me. That really got
That's
me.
That's unsanitary, to say the very least.
Does he spark the pictures of sanitary to you? To when you look at Victor, are you like, oh yeah, he's clean? Every member that ever okay, every time he came in contact with a person, the first thing they said was he was dirty.
Yeah.
Every time. Dirty.
Um, has there been any indication in court given in terms of any, were they able to confirm or verify exactly how he made it from Maryland to Tulsa by chance?
Oh, definitely the bus because they found
Mm-hmm.
a bus ticket from, I believe it was Memphis to Tulsa. That and Victor had asked his cousin in Temple Hills well, he left Temple Hills without saying that he was going to leave, and then sent a message back through Facebook Messenger asking his cousin to buy him a ticket to Texas and asking his cousin to use his name, his own name, not Victor's name. That
Mm-hmm.
should have been a red flag right there. So I think very
Mm.
clearly the bus, which I think that's also another thing out for Dr. Gary Bricado. He was like, you should hit the bus stations. I mean, he said that to me a couple times, and I never did anything with the bus stations, and he was spot on. And I guess that's why he's
That's
like
why
one of
he
the
is what
best.
he is.
Yeah, he's one of the best out there.
Hmm. He's a really nice guy too, isn't he?
He is, and he's just stupidly smart.
I have all his books. I bought them all. I bought
Well,
every single book.
I liked him I'm struggling though with him right now, just with some of the stuff I've heard recently, but I liked him so much at the beginning, and I don't want, um, I think I need to read some of the stuff that Tia's read though, because she really did, like, she dug into that, and Matt and Tia were, I think Dr. Picado brought in another element, or like an intriguing, another thing to like, it clicked in your brain and gave you another avenue to kind of follow or want to learn more about, if
Mhm. Mhm.
that's accurate.
I agree
Um,
with that.
and I do give him so much credit there, but it's kind of like, for me personally, I put him in the background, like, and just set him aside, because all of a sudden I've gone back now with all the stuff coming forward that law enforcement is presenting, and the state is like, I just take all that and I put it aside, because it just is, I don't know. But he did offer some very interesting insights, and Matt, you had some very interesting discussions with him, and I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't even think he was too keen or ever, devoted to one answer or another. But I don't remember him being like absolutely like likely the back, like you said, going out the other
No,
side.
I had private one-on-one conversations with him, and he didn't believe the back exit thing either.
Okay, because I kind of picked up on
There
that,
was
and
only
like
one
it was like
person
he was
that,
like, it's a possibility, of course. Like he would, of course, you don't want to
well, he didn't
necessarily rule
want to
something
speak
out, but
against the host of the show, even though that's the
hmm
only person who thought the back exit was
hmm
a viable exit. I mean, Michael even told me that he didn't think that the back exit was a viable exit, but he was asked to go film content about a possible escape route, and he did it, which I didn't agree with, just because I feel like if you don't believe something, you shouldn't start working that and put it out there, because then you're leading away from the solution. But I
exactly.
guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you know
It
there's
worked.
somebody that's going to be facing the jury
Yes, but
very soon.
it worked out. I mean, we got a conclusion. Law enforcement was doing what they needed to do, and I did actually in another. Um, I forgot what it was. It was not, but it was. I was listening to something the other day, and it reinforced my um, it reignited my confidence in law enforcement. It was never that I was necessarily questioning them, but it was kind of like, that prolonged period where you kind of lose faith and you wonder if steps are being taken, like, is progress being made. And I will say, this case alone, what Hartford County presented and how they conducted themselves throughout, reminded me that we damn well, as a public, we do not deserve every piece of information along the way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Because
Absolutely
then you're
not.
giving all
That's
that
never going.
information to the person who did it. And we know that is true because Victor was watching, reports about what happened. And that's why he
Mm-hmm.
can't let everything out. And that's also why I was quite frustrated when I kept seeing people on Facebook groups say, "Oh, why aren't they doing this? They're not doing anything. They're doing all the wrong stuff," when they don't have a clue what they're doing, when they were literally
Mm-hmm.
doing everything
Everything.
you could possibly do.
And then when we understood, and I think the three of us up here certainly understand and appreciate the gravity of investigative genetic genealogy or forensic genetic genealogy, and you understand how that process works and the steps and how long that can potentially take. When you think law enforcement isn't working, they're working. I mean,
Yeah.
not. I mean, that's what this case solidified for me, is in my moments of questioning, like, God, like, why isn't it happening? Like, that we don't have any updates. We don't know this. But now it reminded me that, like, we're not we're not privy to all that. We will never be privy to all that. And until you can appreciate the steps that it takes in terms of law enforcement and investigation and how that works,
Well, and that takes
You
time.
will forever question it, and yes, thank you, and it takes time, and until you understand and literally can appreciate that, unless they're doing something absolutely atrocious and outrageous, of course, then be like, "What the F are you doing?" Like, Detective so and so. I mean, that's different. But
Right.
this,
Well,
when it's conducted like this, it just reinforced, like, it reminded me of that I need to ground myself again and understand that this is how it works. And I have to trust that it works.
right. And
Especially, I don't know.
And in this specific case, they were following up on every single lead, and they received over 1,000 tips. And that also, and they followed up every single one of those tips. And that also emphasizes why you can't be sending in garbage tips, because there were people out there, they were just searching Facebooks and sending in any Hispanic man that they were finding in the
Mhm.
area. And that's just wasting their time, distracting them from going in the right direction, because they really did follow up on all of those.
I agree.
Sorry, I'm putting
See it
the
work.
timeline in. He stayed from May, no, strike that, December of 23 to May of 24 with Jose.
And I believe Bel Air was March of 23 to December of 23.
24. Wait, oh, maybe I
23
got it wrong.
to, what is it? Would you say May of 2023?
I said March of 23 to December of 23 was Bel Air.
To
Uh,
December.
I'm, I'm
But
looking at
while
my
we are talking about
notes.
that, somebody said something about El Salvador. They were there a long time ago. I mean, I was getting irritated by people posting on Facebook saying, why aren't they doing genetic genealogy when they had been working that for a really long time already? It's like
Yeah, they were
everybody
so
assumes
far
that if they
ahead.
don't know about it, they must not be doing it.
That was frustrating. I learned to exit Facebook groups and not go in them.
Hmm.
I learned that they are just not my place to hang out. Now they're fine and people are nice to me in there because they realize that I wasn't wrong. But initially, I didn't take the Dale Carnegie class of winning friends and influencing people because I just can't deal with stupid. And I think Matt said it best when he said, just because you don't hear about it doesn't mean that they don't know. And there's a process that law enforcement has to follow. And for instance, I listened to Tiffany Keener today, said they have a 45-day turnaround goal. And she did 6 reports, and one of them she turned around in 21 days. I mean, there were people doing everything they could. It's just not fast enough for what we like. And we, general population, uh, John Q. Public here, we all think we're entitled to every single bit of information. And we are entitled to nothing, not a damn thing.
Right.
And every little piece of information we got was a gift. And I just like loved that we got gifts that we didn't get to share with people because we were like, haha, we're not talking. But it was good to see and great to feel that you knew. And we kept saying, law enforcement's got it. They are so far advanced. They're doing things that no one does. And I like it. You've said it, Matt. I've said it. Like the Harford County Sheriff's Department is the best of the best. Yes, they had FBI. Yes, the Maryland State Police worked with them, but they were always the lead and they always were in charge. And they knew so much more that they didn't tell the family until it was the right time.
Yeah, I can give an example for that. It's like they were walking through the timeline where it was on June 14th of 2024. I think it was at 6 o'clock. That's when I think they got was it the search warrant?
For
Which,
where?
Forget
what, the date for which one?
was it? I think it might have been the search, the arrest warrant. That's what it was. On the Yeah, it was Friday because I remember it was a Friday. Friday, June
It was,
14th at 6 o'clock is when they got the. Was it
Arrest
the
warrant.
arrest warrant? Right, it
yeah,
was
Yes.
the
I think
arrest
that we
warrant,
did.
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
they pinged it and found they were able to get T-Mobile to ping it, and at 8 o'clock they knew that it was in Tulsa. Um,
Hmm.
but just speaking to your point that people aren't entitled to information, we knew they were close to something for about a month, but they wouldn't tell us like what it was because you don't want to blow it. But they called us in that Friday after they knew he was in Tulsa, and then it was that night that they arrested him. So it's like that's how close they keep things to their vest, and only let
Mhm.
people know information that they should get from them first. That was the whole reason they called my daughter in, because once the arrest warrant is put out there, it's starting to become public, and then you're going to end up hearing from it from the newspaper. But it was amazing how fast that turned around. But if I can, somebody had a question about if they brought up uh, information about, I think it was like IgG and going to El Salvador. And the answer to that is no, they're not bringing that up in the trial. Well, I guess they've rested, but so they're definitely not bringing it up. But they were not bringing up genetic genealogy because um, that's just an investigative lead. It's no different than a tip leading somebody to a house, and you don't really usually introduce that as evidence into a trial. It's no different than they knocked on my door, they got some clothes here, they tested it, and it linked to somebody else. The reason they don't do that is because if they introduce it, that's then letting the defense poke all the way through that. It could potentially confuse the jury, and you don't want to give the defense different things to poke around in and hopefully find something that they can confuse the jury on and throw one person off. So, no, they didn't go into IgG because they didn't need to, because there was never a link between IgG and Victor, because it led them to a location. And then once they were there, they tested clothing that was not linked to IgG and compared it back to the crime scene. When they had a match, great, they knew the identity. And then when they got Victor, they took DNA from Victor and compared it back to the crime scene. There was never a comparison from IgG data to Victor, if that makes sense to people.
Yes, it does. I saw something else that led me down a path of questions. Was he working in August at the time of the attack? I have to refer to Anna.
Yeah. I
'Cause
I don't
he-
remember them specifically saying that day, but I know that they were
no.
saying that he worked at Popeyes from, I think it was June to, if I remember correctly, June to October, but he had two breaks.
Mhm.
And then he was
Yes.
working at Barrett's on the Pike for like 3 weeks
A
to a
week.
month.
Oh, that's right.
But they
3 weeks to
didn't
a month.
say specifically did he have a job on August 5th.
Yeah, I didn't. That's what I was. That was actually a legitimate
He
question from me to try to
started in June at Popeyes. He was hired on
June 17th.
6/17.
June.
Yeah.
See, I have a crappy
Yeah,
memory, except for stuff like this. I just seem to remember it.
Yeah, June 17th he started, but
June
he took
17th,
2 breaks, so we don't know if he was working or not.
and that was
She didn't say.
that's frightening to think that's 49 days before August 5th.
Well, like I said, it was 609 days from attack to trial date. So
Okay.
it's hard when you look at something like that. 609 days is a lot of days to not have
Mm-hmm.
answers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
it to think it took that long, but you think about it in the grand scheme of things, 609 days from attack to trial really isn't that long. We really didn't wait that long
No,
in the
not at
grand
all.
scheme of things. Some trials take 5 years to get to,
Or
between
Ellen
the
Greenberg's
motions.
parents.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
He used multiple names. Yes, he gave his work application had a different name. Everything had
That
a
was his
different
roommate's name
name.
he gave,
yeah,
because he gave last name
Marcos
Campos, which is
Campos.
a
Yeah.
roommate's name.
Mhm.
He used Roberto. Uh,
Roberto Campos, I think.
yeah. And then
Okay.
he had a couple Facebooks because he does have his own Facebook, which is
Fernando.
under Victor.
Yeah, it was Fernando Ishmael.
Yeah, Fernando Ishmael.
Okay.
That was his Facebook, and that's the one he messaged people from.
And then Roberto Campos, and then was it? I think y'all know of two more,
Juan
and I know
Carlos.
Juan
What's your
Carlos.
name?
Juan
Juan
Carlos.
Carlos.
He
No,
used
it's
that one
not.
a
Didn't
lot,
smile.
at least 9
Smile for
times
me.
with Patrol Officer Delmont.
Mhm.
Delmont. I love that. I
Smile
love
for
when she
me.
gets back
No.
to the car and she says, with choppers like that, it was pretty easy to identify. God, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
had a
I
great
only caught
personality.
3 of them. I only caught 3 of them, but I loved it when she kept going. No, try again. No, and she just looked at him. There's a screenshot I think going on like on Twitter and stuff. Everyone loved that woman on the arrest video.
But she
I mean,
has no
people were
fear.
like, yes, they were like that. They all, as it, that, the whole team like did a great job
Kelly, that's
of
a great
executing.
question. I don't know. I had some questions, but you know
Ooh,
what? I'm going to take that under that's a none of my business thing. As far as what social security number or how he was high, I don't know. I don't know how that works. And to be honest with you, I'm
mhm,
just going to say it. I don't care because they got him.
mhm,
Um, do I have questions in my head? Yes, I do.
yeah,
Also, I don't care. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know how he did it. I those questions came across my mind too. Like, how the hell did he travel? How the hell did he do this? How did he get a job? I mean,
Well,
when I was
traveling's
listening,
easy. You don't need like an ID to buy a bus ticket.
apparently you don't. Apparently you don't. And that's what LFT and I were talking about.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean
apparently
flying, that's
that's
a
your
different
mode of
story. But
transportation.
well, yeah, I know you don't need ID because I've taken a bus before.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had to
Yeah,
go up to New
one.
York, and there was like a mega bus, and I ended up getting like I think it was like a $5 ticket from like White Marsh, which is a little bit south of Bel Air, like 20 minutes south of Bel Air, up to
I've stayed
Manhattan.
there.
So I was like, for that price, no problem.
yeah,
I've
sure. Why
stayed.
not?
Mine, the last time just talked about this, but it's been years. But I can tell you, I've done it from NC to Virginia before I had a license, kind of deal. And I can tell y'all, I didn't, I had a permit, like I had ID, like I think I was 15 at the time, but like I can remember it to this day. If I had my ticket in my hand, that's what they did. Like you, it's like you show your ticket, you get on. There's nothing
Yeah,
else. Like I
that's
didn't
why.
have to do anything.
Yeah, when they were still looking for somebody, I just thought it was weird how many people were like, "How's he moving across the country?" It's like we don't have like subway turnstiles like every 20 feet in this country. I mean, it's not hard to move around. If you wanted to, you could walk across the country. People have done it. Takes you a while.
There you go. I'm currently on Amtrak between Washington and Nevada. Not once has anybody asked for their ID.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to tell you that I have been getting so there's a lady since we've been live who's been messaging me. She's a doll, but she's sending me these messages, and I just wanted to share something with you that, and I'm not going to read her messages, but she's gone into great length and detail to message me that she is local and uh, knew Rachel from the trail.
I'm
And
not trying to diminish anything she says. Don't take it that way at all. But it almost seems to me like all the time that I spent on the trail, who didn't know Rachel from the trail? Because she
right,
was so sociable. I was blown away by how many people were like, Oh yeah, I met her on the trail. She was so friendly. It was amazing how many people said that.
Yeah. But she said she was such a strong lady. Where'd it go? I read it. What she was saying was just like she was always beautiful, but inside and out. Like, and that's what I always hear about Rachel is beautiful, and she was beautiful. There's no getting around that. You can try, but she's gorgeous. Um, her inner beauty far exceeded what was on the outside. So many people have said that. And I think that's amazing that she had that effect on so many. I remember being on the memorial walk for her, the Trail of Light, and there was a lady who walked up to me and she said, "Did you know Rachel?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And she said, "I know her. I used to walk my dog, and she used to come over and pet my dog, and we would talk, and I must have had 3 different women walk up to me that day and tell me just how Rachel would stop them, talk to them, check in with them. How are you? Oh, hi, so and so. How are you? Like she should have been the mayor because she knew everybody on that damn trail. And I like to hear how people speak about her being her inner light was as beautiful as she was, her inner light glowed even brighter. Um, and I think that's a true testament to who Rachel Morin was. Oh yeah, Alice, I remember that. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. It was all,
Oh.
I don't know if it's the same woman, but I remember that because I think you had said like I was in your ear or something or whatever it was. And they kept talking, like y'all just talked. And I was like, oh, they're like, it's just so sad. They're like, I recognized her from the trail. Like she was here. She would pet my dog. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who, like I said, in the courtroom, my pals that I've met, come and support. And I just, they didn't know Rachel. They didn't know the family, but they came to support and be kind and help wherever they could. And, I won't say who, one of my favorite EMTs, took us all out yesterday for lunch and we had a great time, and that was so special. That was a really nice way to connect with people. And I'm very grateful for that. And I made a friend, Nicole in here, Missy, Donna, just it's so many nice people have been there to support. And every time I turn around, I'm taking my notes and I'm stretching my hand and Donna leans over to me and she'll say, "Are you okay? You all right? You need anything?" "No, I'm good." "All right, give me a mint."
Oh man, do you have any left? I think
Yeah.
I ate
Oh,
them all.
no,
But
I got tons. We are not, I'm, here's the thing. We got plenty to make it through the trial.
but
We
I,
have plenty.
I want to make a comment about what you just said.
Yeah,
Rachel brought all of you together.
we said that.
Yeah.
We said that. And, oh, hold on.
She's in my, I have like, oh, yeah. Actually,
We
God.
said that yesterday.
Mhm.
When we were walking back, Nicole and Missy and Donna and Matt and I all had lunch. And when we were walking back, we said that Rachel brought us all together. And I'm really grateful for that. Um, People always say you can meet girls are weird like that. Girls will meet their best friend in the bathroom. And it's true. We do. Some of us can meet our best friend in the bathroom. Sometimes we meet them on social media. Sometimes you meet them on YouTube. It doesn't matter.
Or a
Sometimes you meet
trail.
them at a trial.
Or a trail.
And yeah, or a trail, or a trail. And I feel very blessed and very lucky that these women befriended me during this time. Um, because they all individually are super special and super kind. Um, Collectively, we're funny as hell,
And humble.
as you can see.
Yeah.
As you can see, the bathroom thing is true. You can meet your best friend in the bathroom, can't you?
Yeah, I know that I've met so many amazing people because of this tragedy. And well, that's also one of the things that I actually worry about too. Is not worry about, but I know I don't want it to sound weird, but that I'm gonna miss. It's like there are people that I've made connections with that I know the connections are gonna go away when this is, when all of this is
Yeah.
done. It's like there's so many reporters that I got to know that I'm kind of like friends with. It's like, I mean, even today I got a text, there was a reporter that had to keep going in and out, and they like sent me a text like, "Hey, did you hear about this?" It's like there's just, you know, I say hi to them in the morning because we're kind of friendly now, and it's like
Yeah.
that's
I
coming
can
to an
see
end,
that. Well, um, it may for some, but I hope not for us. And I
Oh, it's definitely
really
not for
mean
you
that.
guys.
I really mean that. Because I don't know what I'd do without my friend Matt. Not my friend Matt, who is connected to Rachel Morin, but my friend Matt. Period. End of story. Um, Again, Rachel brought us all together. I think.
Definitely.
Oh, look at Nicole. This was nice. Forever grateful just to have met you. You're truly such a humble and strong man. So very proud of you, and you're showing your daughter how strong you are. Truly, I second that, Nicole.
Okay, so I appreciate what you said, but what I always try to tell people if I when I received like a comment like that is everything I did was for my own. I really feel like, well, not all of it was for my own survival, but a lot of it was for my own survival because I was losing my mind. I mean, there's a huge part of it that I was doing it because of Rachel and because of the kids, but a lot of it I didn't feel like I had a choice. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it was
So it
survival.
wasn't something I chose to do. It's like a firefighter. They choose to become a firefighter and run into a a burning building. I didn't make a choice to do anything. I didn't have a choice.
The choice was made for you.
Well, it's like it took over my life. It's like autopilot was turned on. It's like that's like saying that you're a great driver when well, you're a great pilot when autopilot's on. It's like, the pilot, they don't really have any control. The same way I really didn't feel like I had any control about anything during this time. It took over my life, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I worry. I mean, LFT and I have talked about this. Like, I worry when the quiet comes. You
Yeah, no,
know,
I hear you.
there's
Trust
a
me, I hear
strong
you.
possibility that the quiet will come next week. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm just
It's
gonna be
not.
honest with you. Like, I am nervous.
No, the quiet is not coming next week because you have sentencing.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
there'll be victim impact statements, which I'm not doing. Um, I'm going to encourage my daughter. I'm respecting Tia by not saying my daughter's name, even though I say my daughter's name, just because she's already been out there. But encourage her to do a victim impact statement as well as other people. So once a verdict comes in, it'll move into working on those victim impact statements. And for people that may not know, there are statements that you can give verbally in court or in writing, and the state's attorney can read it. It's best if you give it verbally and also hand in a written one, and you get an opportunity to address the court, tell them how it impacted your life, tell them what you'd like to see happen, or you can address victor. So it can be a very healing thing. And then, of course, there's sentencing, and then probably appeals that we can probably ignore because they're all going to be stupid appeals that aren't going
Right.
to matter. And if all goes well, there's never going to be probation hearings for anybody to have to go to.
No. No. And I second that. I don't think that there will be. And um
Okay.
I
So,
think with all the charges, he's going to be just
yeah.
fine.
So the quiet will come after sentencing.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely. Yes. I I forgot about that. And but that's a 30-day window.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we don't know when sentencing is going to be because that's the judge's decision. I mean, she of course is going to talk to the attorneys, but that's nobody knows when that's going to be until we have a verdict and the judge says sentencing and slams her gavel. If I don't know if she slams the gavel. I don't remember hearing her use the gavel even once in the courtroom.
She's so soft spoken and like I said, she's very elegant.
Um,
She's so
I
elegant.
hear what you're saying with elegant, but powerful is what comes to me. It's like she, even though she's soft spoken and you're saying elegant, there is no doubt that she controls that courtroom.
There is no doubt.
Yeah,
She is very
powerful.
much in control.
Yeah.
Very much in control. And while she may speak quietly, she definitely she what is it, LFT? She leaves a mighty big wake.
No, yeah, well, SS Healy leaves a mighty big wake, or whomever it is. But
Yeah.
I always say that, and then my other thing is, whatever you do in life, remember your tone and delivery determines the size of the wave. There's a way
She
to do it.
is
Mhm.
it's funny how and I truly believe Rachel has lined this up because there's no other way, but the arresting officers were women. Um
Yeah.
the judge and the state's attorney are women, all very powerful, respectful women. And I just, it's by design. It's absolutely by design. There's no question for me. When do you think we'll have a verdict? The state rested. Yes, the state rested today. I don't know.
I'll put out my prediction. I already told Joel Waldman my prediction.
Tell me.
Um, I assuming that they don't call any witnesses. It sounds like they're really not going to call any witnesses. That they just go into closing arguments and then deliberation. I predict
Yep.
Monday.
So do I. I didn't want to say, but I have down here at 4:54 the state rested. Defense Monday deliberation. The jury has to be in at a certain time, and uh, I'll tell you privately, Matt. And then we wait. And she did a whole thing today about staying late to get it right. I think it's Monday. I
Yeah.
think it's Monday.
If they start deliberation on Monday, I think we get a verdict on Monday, and I do not think that they're going to deliberate very long. I think it's that compelling that they're not. I don't think that they're going to be the jury that's going to be like, well, let's sift through all the evidence. I think they're going to be the kind of jury that's going to go back there, look at each other, and be like, guilty, right? Right? Yeah,
Yeah, I think
and
they're going
that's
to do
it.
the hand vote of raise your hand. Okay, we're done.
Yeah, I
So
think it's going to be like that.
I do
Do,
too.
do y'all think the defense, if that was the case, that the defense would be like they didn't adequately deliberate,
Well,
on the
that's none of their
information?
business. That's not how it works.
I was just checking because we've seen a lot happen in other
They can
cases
say
I
that all
sometimes.
they want, but the jury gets to make their decision however I mean, as long as they're following the rules that the judge put down, it's up to them.
I
I mean, you
mean,
follow true crime more than me, so you can speak to it more. But that's my understanding of the law. As long as they follow what the instructions that the judge gives them, it's their it's if they get to decide what the verdict is. And it's like defense doesn't
yeah.
like it. It's like, okay, here's a hanky.
Well, and she was talking about the instructions today. So, I mean, I honestly think the instructions, I think the giving of instructions will take longer than the deliberations.
I could see that.
Um, there's some people out there that were very engaged. They were leaning forward, really reading documents today. I mean, when that DNA evidence came in, it was compelling as all get out. And those people were just as, I mean, I was engaged. I looked over at them and I was like, damn straight, you better be leaning forward. You better be reading that screen. Um, did you hear that? He can't be excluded. And it was so many were leaning forward, like really listening in. And I was like, all right, I see you. We'll see.
Yeah. To the question about like, does defense have new witnesses? It's no witnesses. It's like we're gonna find out, but it's like
Let me put it this way.
thinking no.
Cross examination has not been more than 5 minutes on any witness. And most witnesses have not been cross examined.
Okay, so I want to make a comment on what you just said. I don't think that you're painting an accurate picture. Just
Really?
because most of the cross examination is the defense asking the same damn questions the prosecution asked.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Actually, that's funny though. I want to see how many no crosses I have because we have a lot.
I
Um,
think I remember the only question in terms of those family and or coworkers or whomever spoke, they only cross-examined one. It was the first one of the day for the defense. Yesterday when they were on the stand, if I'm correct. And then from what Tia has said from both Tia and Matt from being in the courtroom, like, if they have a question, it's like, are
it's
you just trying to meet
repeating
your?
exactly
It's like
what
you're,
was
it's
asked.
like they have a
Like,
word limit.
well,
It's like they
that's so
want to make
funny.
sure the jury heard the answer when the prosecution asked. It's like, let's reinforce that, make sure you didn't miss it.
Well, and
Mm-hmm.
and I don't get the one thing I don't get, and I'm being for real, is I don't get, you know, each witness will go through their resume, not their entire resume, but like how it applies to this case. And the defense then goes through and says, "Where'd you go to school?" It's like we just went through that.
Yeah.
What do you mean, where did I go to school? Um, train, conduct investigation. I'm trying to look for a good. Here's one. Deputy Carr. He goes through his resume for, 1022 has been employed, was with Baltimore County for 4 years, North Precinct, Southern and then cross. You were trained to conduct an investigation in Baltimore County. Yeah. It was a lateral transfer, you said. Yeah. And you received training. Uh-huh. It's like we covered all that already.
Thanks for clarifying that he's qualified.
Exactly.
It's like they did it because they had to, like, it was almost like we got to do this because we got to ask something, like we got to do our job, and it was almost like it's almost protocol kind of
No,
questions.
that's exactly my call. It really
It's
felt like they were
exactly.
like, I have to say something. I can't sit here and say no questions to everybody. It's like, I truly felt like it was, I need to talk just to talk.
Well, and yesterday was
I
funny
swear they have a
because
word limit for the day.
one of them was asleep all day, not literally, but just very quiet all day. And the day before, this person wouldn't stop with the objections, and it was embarrassing. And then all of a sudden, at the very end of the day, it was like objection. Everybody was like jumping out of their seat.
No,
Like,
that
No,
holy
shocked
before
me.
they
shit,
woke up. Is it
holy
two
shit, who
women?
woke him up? Go back to
Is it
sleep.
is it two women and one? Is it two females and a guy, or two men and one on the defense? Because he's
Two
got
men and
three,
one
right?
woman.
Okay,
Two
that's
men,
what I
one
could.
woman.
Okay. So I put my notebook away. I know the only one I know is Sawyer Hicks, and then I know of one woman's name I'd recognize it if I saw it, but I forgot who the third one was.
He
Are
was the
they
one
all
that woke up at the
speaking?
end of the day and did a big objection, and everybody was like, "Holy crap!" I think I looked at Nicole and I was like, "Who the hell woke him up?" All of a sudden, he was like out of nowhere. It's like,
Right.
whoa!
But apparently it was a valid objection because when they had the sidebar, they came back. The question was not repeated.
It was not repeated.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Oh, so we can't know it. Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, it is very late.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
know we are all exhausted,
Yes.
and we can come back tomorrow and finish our weekly wrap up of what happened. If anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comment section or feel free to email us or message us however you like. It's fine. We can answer questions anywhere. Um, if we can answer, we will. If we can't, give us till the end of the week when there's a verdict, and then we will. Um, some things, most of the things I'm covering, there are some things for privacy. I'm just not. And that's a nobody's business thing. Um, we are getting, LFT and I already talked about this. We are getting the discovery.
Mhm.
We are not purchasing it because I don't want to mortgage my house to do so. I can't afford
So,
copies of 9 binders.
so Matt, do you know
Um,
what that means? You want to go to the library or wherever we're going? No, you don't get that. But you want to go to coffee?
we got to
You
go to
want
the
to go?
clerk of courts, and we got to sit there and we got to go through it all.
Hmm.
Doesn't that sound like
That
fun?
means that means I have
No.
to drive. I'm coming there to do that.
Then you can meet the girls. You can meet all the girls.
I
All
know.
right, you guys.
Matt is so excited right now. He can't even speak. He doesn't even know
Matt's
what to do.
asleep. Shh.
I'm not
But
asleep. It's
no,
just like I'm sitting
just
here thinking it's like when this is done, I am definitely not rehashing this.
no. But
No, we just
you're gonna go play tennis or do something. I don't know. We're gonna go throw a ball or get a cup of coffee or do something.
no,
I
we're
don't.
gonna go. We're
We'll
just
do
what
something,
we're
but me sitting in a room reading through these
He's like
documents
the hell
is
I
not it.
am.
no, it's for us basically checking our work. This is what we're
Mhm.
gonna do. We're gonna check our work. Um,
No, I get it. This is what you do, but
it
not what
is.
I do.
That's right. um,
I mean, I didn't
and
even watch Dahmer when that was on Netflix. It's like I don't do anything true crime.
I didn't
I
watch
know
that
you
either.
said that when we first met you. You're like, you don't watch true crime. Like, that's weird. And
No,
meanwhile,
I
he's
don't.
looking at us like, no, you're weird.
well, stuff like that. I mean, it like kind of turns my stomach. It's like I don't even like watching horror movies. You know, it's like
Oh,
so.
Matt, I got scared in Hocus Pocus, but yet I can do this.
I know it's crazy.
It's weird. It is, but
No,
thank
I'm
y'all
not
so much.
scared. It just I
It's enough.
don't like it.
It's enough. Well,
Yeah.
it's different being in the shoes that you're in. It's very different.
Mhm.
No,
We have a
before it
level of
happened, I didn't like it.
separation. I know. I know, but we have a level of separation that you don't have. And that makes it more difficult. Um, Donna, I love you. I hope you're doing okay. And
I think I love Donna too. I think
you
well,
do.
all y'all there. I do Nicole, Cole, all y'all. I sincerely though, for real, I have heard such wonderful things, and for someone that it's like having my older sister, you know, going through something and just worrying, and Matt included, but also when it comes to Tia, you just worry, and I'm just so glad or care and not worry that anything's going to happen, but just want to make sure because it's just a difficult thing for all you all to go through, and so I really am very glad that something good is even coming out of this part of the process.
There's a lot of good
It
coming
really
out of
is a
it.
comfort. It really is a good comfort. So my appreciation to everyone who is there and who is not only supporting Tia and Matt, but other members of the family and doing what they can. Like it for those in the who are a distance away, it really does mean a lot.
Oh, well, everybody go to bed. It's been a week.
I've been laying in bed the whole time.
Yeah, we
I'm going
need
to
to get
start
our.
doing. We're going to start doing this from. Oh wait, I don't get
I
sick
can't
from
do it from my
touching
bed.
my.
My husband snores, so that will
No,
not
and
happen.
I do it
That
from
will not
Tia's room
happen.
here. I have to go in your room here, but we should start. Well, I'm going to do like Matt's doing at some point, I think.
Yeah, you don't have the camera on anyway. It's like, yeah, do it in
No
comfort.
one
No,
knows.
but we are. For the record, we are editing that little part out. Well, actually, I don't really give a
You're fine.
shit.
You're
I don't care.
fine.
I feel like I'm sick, y'all. It's just
Well, we're
is
not
what
going
it
to catch
is.
you through the camera.
Yeah, you're fine.
I
It's
don't
not
care.
contagious.
Actually, let's leave it up because the day I'm not, when I feel better and things are going better and I have a cam slip, I'll be like,
Look how cute I
told
am.
ya.
That's what you're gonna say.
I'm
Look how
like, you
cute
want to see the difference? You want to see
I
real? But sorry. And actually, you know what? Do not take it out because that is the least of the worries or concerns or an issue out of our entire topic at hand. That crap does not matter at all. So I negate everything I said. I etch a sketch that right out, shake the etch a sketch board, and I didn't mean any of that. I just
Willows,
appreciate y'all
thank
and
you
thank
for
you so much.
joining us. Yeah, Willows, thank you for joining us. I knew you were new to our chat, so we really appreciate you. Please thank Tanya again, you guys,
Mhm.
for having everyone come over. That was really kind. And I always say this to you guys, but if you're a praying person, please take a moment and raise some prayers for Rachel's kids and for her family, and that justice will be done. I think it will. I think it'll be swift. So thank you all for joining us this evening. Please go to your favorite creator, whoever that is, like them, send a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell them Decipher sent you, and just try to be kind to everyone, even though it's hard sometimes because people are assholes. I get it. We all have to do better, including me, and just try to be kind. You just never know. All right. Thank you all for joining us and have a great evening. We'll probably see you tomorrow, but maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you,
Thank you.
Tia
And
and LSD.
LSD. I love that. That's sticking.
I swear to God,
Thanks for coming
I've
up,
been
Matt. I
called
really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've been called
It's my pleasure.
LSD and the other one, but I'll take it. But yes, I don't know who has to echo, but yes, thank you so much, Matt. It really was nice to talk to you, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
know
you
we're saying our
guys.
goodbyes, but for everybody in chat, it's like we do this sometimes. It's just this time it was broadcast.
This
Yeah.
is what we do. This is normal. This is absolutely normal. You just got to see it this time.
hmm
So
But thank you all again, and I hope everyone has a nice night. And please be sure if you see Rachel or anything about the case or anything anywhere, be sure to throw up the hashtag and an orange heart and show some support until we get at least through the end of this trial at the bare minimum.
yes.
Continue to support, and we all appreciate it.
You guys have a good night. Have a good weekend and be safe. We will be back on Monday. Take care.
Thank you all so much.